Chapter 705. Qi Jinkong, the Seven Elders, and Qi Jintian turned to look at Lu Ming. Lu Ming shook his head in his heart. He had helped the Red Leopard tribe, but Qi Jinshan had stopped him. Given his character, he would have left long ago. The reason why he stayed was firstly because of Qiyu. Secondly, at this point, if he turned around and left, he would definitely not be valued by the Red Leopard tribe. He still wanted to make use of the Red Leopard tribe's strength to inquire about Xian Yinqing's whereabouts. Since you want to see, open your eyes and watch carefully. Lu Ming's gaze swept toward the Qijin mountain. Buzz! At the same time, a red ring appeared above Lu Ming's head. There were 10 points on the ring, which were as dazzling as stars. 10 spirit lamps. He has lit 10 spirit lamps in the first stage. Qi Jinkong, the Seven Elders, and the rest of the crowd were astounded. Some of the elders even yelled out in shock. Qi Jinshan's eyes almost popped out. He opened his mouth, so wide that he could swallow a dead mouse. He stared at Lu Ming in a daze. Lu Ming had lit 10 spirit lamps in the first stage and reached the perfect stage. Haha, I knew it. Lu Ming's talent is the best in the outer world. After Qi Yu recovered from his initial shock, he laughed heartily. Humph, it's only the first stage. Maybe he was lucky enough to obtain a powerful flame. That's why he could light up 10 spirit lamps in the first stage. There have been such cases in history. However, the later stages, the harder it is to light up the spirit lamps. Let's see how many he can light up later. Qi Jinshan said with a gloomy face. Father is right. Qi Feng chimed in. Oh, is that so? Then open your dog eyes wide and take a good look. There was a sneer at the corners of Lu Ming's lips. Immediately after, there was another flash of light above his head. This time, 2 rings appeared consecutively. One was orange and the other was yellow. The 2 rings were the same as the first one. They both had 10 bright spots, dazzling and mesmerizing. Everyone was stunned. Their eyes were wide open, and they were extremely shocked. The first 3 stages were all perfect, with 10 spirit lamps lit. This was simply too shocking. Qi Jinshan's face flushed red. Qi Feng was dumbfounded. Didn't they want to see it? As for Lu Ming, he would let him take a good look. Let's continue watching. The cold smile at the corner of Lu Ming's mouth deepened. In the next moment, 2 more rings appeared above his head. There were 2 rings, one green and one blue. On top of each ring, there were 10 bright spots. 5 rings stacked on top of each other. The 50 bright spots almost blinded Qi Jinshan's eyes. Perfect, all perfect. All 5 stages are perfect. Oh my God, what am I seeing? A miracle, a genius. This is the strongest genius this old man has ever seen. I was right, he is the #1 genius in the outer world. Several elders, who were hundreds of years old, could no longer control their emotions. They shouted one after another. Their faces flushed with excitement. Qi Yu's mouth formed an O shape. She stood there in a daze. After a while, her eyes lit up. As for Qi Jinshan and Qi Feng, it was as if they had seen a ghost. They looked at Lu Ming, unable to say a word. Their lips were trembling nonstop. Lighting 10 spirit lamps in all 5 stages. This was simply a legend. In their world, they had never heard of such a genius. There was even a rumor in this world that 9 was the limit. It was impossible to be perfect. In other words, lighting 9 spirit lamps was the limit. Perfection was just a legend. It was a realm that was expected. But now, it had appeared in front of a young man in his 20s. My current mental strength should be enough, right? Lu Ming's gaze continued to fall on Qi Jinshan. Qi Jinshan's expression changed. He did not say a word. He could not speak. Good. Little brother Lu is indeed the #1 genius in the outer world. I believe that little brother Lu will be able to break the seal. Qi Jinkong laughed with excitement in his eyes. That's right. Little brother, Please come forward and check those inscription arrays to see how to break them. A white-haired elder said excitedly, except for Qi Jinkong and Qi Feng. Everyone looked at Lu Ming expectantly. Perhaps Lu Ming could really do it. Okay. Lu Ming nodded and walked forward. He came to the place full of inscriptions and looked at it carefully. Dandan, can you really break it? Lu Ming transmitted a message to Dandan. The seal here was made up of 3 different arrays. There were more than 100 of them. The 3 arrays were intertwined with each other. Moreover, they were all extremely advanced, level 6 inscription arrays. The chiefs of the Sky Wolf tribe, the Shadow Snake tribe, and the Blood Tiger tribe who had set up the arrays were all level 6 inscriptionists. To be honest, with Lu Ming's current attainment in the path of inscription, it was still difficult for him to break it. The reason why he agreed was that Dandan had transmitted a message to him that it could break it. Nonsense. Don't you know who I am? I'm the head of the top 10 battle beasts. I've lived for countless years. I know astronomy and yin and yang. How can a mere level 6 inscription array be difficult for me? Dandan began to boast again. Of course, it transmitted a message and no one could hear it. Lu Ming was used to Dandan's boasting. He directly ignored Dandan's boasting and said, "Oh, how can I break it? Boy, listen to me. Start with the vertical 18 inscriptions of Raging Flame, then the horizontal 7 inscriptions of Explosion." Dandan began to guide him. Blue flames spread out between Lu Ming's fingers and engraved in the air. Inscriptions appeared in different directions and flew into the ground at the entrance of the canyon. Everyone in the Red Leopard tribe widened their eyes and stared at it. Howl! Suddenly a wolf howled. An array shone and condensed into a giant wolf, which pounced on Lu Ming. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. Qi Jinshan's eyes lit up. However, Lu Ming's expression was calm. He allowed the huge wolf to pounce on him. When the huge wolf pounced on Lu Ming, it exploded with a bang, turning into spots of light and dissipating. The first array was broken. The first array is broken. It's really broken. Qi Jinkong and the 7 elders were all overjoyed. Dad, Grandpa, look. I was right. Lu Ming will definitely be able to do it, Qi Yu said with a smile. Yes, but this seal is made up of 136 arrays. The deeper you go, the harder it is to break. Let's see what happens later, Qi Jinkong said. At the same time, Lu Ming continued to engrave inscriptions. The inscriptions flew into the ground one by one. After a while, a giant blood-red tiger pounced out and then dissipated. The second array was broken. Afterward, Lu Ming's fingers did not stop. He continued to inscribe inscriptions in the air. One array after another was cracked by Lu Ming. Chapter 706. The more excited Qi Jinkong and the others were, the more they looked forward to it. Perhaps it would work this time. God bless. Ancient ancestor bless. They prayed in their hearts. Perhaps the ancient ancestor did not want the Red Leopard tribe to be destroyed, so he sent such a genius. The chosen one. At the same time, Qi Jinkong and the other elders thought of this word. They looked at each other and became more excited and expectant. Phew! At this time, Lu Ming took a deep breath, sat cross-legged on the ground, and closed his eyes. After breaking 18 formations in a row, he did not have enough mind power and needed to recover. We will guard this place. No one is allowed to leave, Qi Jinkong ordered. To prevent any accidents, they would guard this place personally. At this time, Qi Jinshan's face became gloomier and his eyes flashed with a strange light. Qi Feng looked at Lu Ming with jealousy in his eyes. There was nothing else. 3 hours later, Lu Ming got up and continued to crack the formations. However, from this point onwards, the array became more complicated and more difficult. Lu Ming's speed also slowed down a little. This time, Lu Ming spent more than an hour to crack 18 formations. Then he sat cross-legged again and began to recover. A few hours later, Lu Ming got up again with a smile on his face. He found that cracking formations this way could make his mind power purer, and he could also train. He felt that he was getting closer and closer to becoming a 6th-level inscriptionist. Lu Ming continued to crack the formations, but the further he went, the slower he became. On the first day, Lu Ming cracked 50 inscription formations. On the second day, he cracked 30 inscription formations. On the third day, he cracked 20 inscription formations. There were 136 formations in total. Now, there were only 36 formations left. However, Lu Ming stopped when he reached the last 36th seat. He pondered for a while and then walked to Qi Jinkong. Patriarch Qi, the next 36 inscription formations are mainly made by the Yin snake tribe. They are extremely vicious and unstable. If you are not careful, they will explode and destroy this valley. Lu Ming said. Qi Jinkong's expression changed. He asked anxiously, "What should we do then?" "That's easy. Lu Ming needs a favor from clan leader Qi," Lu Ming said. "Brother Lu, please speak. Even if we mobilize the entire Red Leopard tribe, it won't be a problem." Qi Jinkong's tone was firm. "It's not that serious. I just need some materials. I have a material here called Crimson Blood Sand. I need the Patriarch to send someone to refine it." A jade tablet appeared in Lu Ming's hand. It contained the refining method of the scarlet blood sand and the required materials. He handed it over to Qi Jinkong. Qi Jinkong glanced at it and said, "Not a problem, but I'm afraid it'll take me 6 to 7 days to refine it." "Don't worry, Patriarch Qi. Is there a place where poisonous snakes gather nearby? I will personally hunt some poisonous snakes and take their essence blood to refine another material. Only by combining these two materials can we break the last 36 formations." Lu Ming said, "A place where venomous snakes gather? To the west of the Red Leopard tribe, there's 1,000 Snakes Valley. There are a large number of poisonous snakes there, but that's already the territory of the Shadow Snake tribe." Qi Jinkong said, "Don't worry, I just need to sneak there and hunt some poisonous snakes." Lu Ming smiled. "That's great. Brother Lu, you've been working hard for the past few days to break the formations. Let's take a rest at the Red Leopard tribe and then prepare the materials." Although Qi Jinkong was quite anxious and excited, he still spoke politely to Lu Ming. Lu Ming was now the hope of the Red Leopard tribe. "Sure," Lu Ming nodded. Qi Jinkong left a few elders to guard the place, while he and the rest of the elders brought Lu Ming and Qi Yu to the Red Leopard tribe. "Lu Ming, you haven't been to our tribe, right? Let me show you around. What's it like in the outer world? Your skin is so white and smooth. Also, the clothes you're wearing are strange too." Along the way, Red Moon followed Lu Ming, chattering nonstop and asking a lot of questions. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. He couldn't help but think of a girl, Xian Xan. At that time, Xian Xan was also very curious. She kept asking about it nonstop. Lu Ming explained casually. Soon, they arrived at the ancient city. It was a stone city. The buildings inside were all made of stone. The stone city was bustling with people. It was different from the cities Lu Ming had seen before. It was full of exotic charm. When he arrived, Lu Ming's heart suddenly stirred. He asked, "Clan leader Qi, during this period of time, did anyone from the outside world like me come here?" "Yes, there are about 100 people. They're all living in the main hall in the west. We didn't restrict their movements," Qi Jinkong explained. "Can you show me?" Lu Ming asked. He wanted to see if there were any familiar faces. Maybe Xia Nianqing was here too? "Of course. I'll go back and order people to prepare the red blood sand. Third uncle, you, bring little brother Lu to the main hall in the west," Qi Jinkong instructed. "Yes, father." Qi Yu smiled. She was accompanied by a white-haired old man. They led Lu Ming to the main hall in the west. Along the way, many people looked at Lu Ming curiously. During this period of time, many people from beyond the earth had come. The news had spread like wildfire, and they were all very curious. There was a huge stone hall in the west. There were many stone houses in it. During this period, there were more than 100 people living here. They were all from the chaotic astral ocean. Zhong Yuan was in a bad mood during this period. He was the sect leader of the blood poison sect. He thought that with the key to the martial emperor's treasure, he would get a great opportunity. The blood poison sect would soar, and he would be able to break through and reach the supreme realm. He didn't expect that all his plans would be ruined by Lu Ming, causing countless people to rush into the martial emperor's treasure. Not only that, after entering the martial emperor's treasure, he didn't get anything. Instead, he was chased everywhere. In the end, he had no choice but to follow the people of the Red Leopard Tribe to the Red Leopard Tribe. At this moment, he was sitting in the courtyard with 2 experts in the 3rd layer of the spiritual sea realm. They were drinking and chatting. Brother Zhong, according to my speculation, the Saint Mountain in the underground world is very likely to be related to the martial emperor's treasure. This time we have to work together. An old man in the 3rd layer of the spiritual sea realm said. That's right, and I speculate that there should be a way out of the Saint Mountain. At that time, we can leave this damn place. The other martial artist in the 3rd layer of the spiritual sea realm said. I hope so. Zhong Yuan drank a cup of wine. His eyes flickered as he thought about something. Creak! At this moment, the door opened. Lu Ming and the others walked in. The people in the courtyard also looked at the door. Chapter 707. Upon hearing the voice, Lu Ming looked in the direction of the voice. There was a strong murderous intent in his eyes. Blood poison sect leader. A cold voice came from Lu Ming's mouth. The white-haired old man in front of him was the blood poison sect leader, the one who injured him and wanted to steal his jade sword. He didn't expect to meet him here. Ha ha ha, little bastard. I said before that if I meet you, I'll kill you. Your luck is really bad to meet me here. Let's see how you'll die this time. Zhong Yuan laughed loudly and stood up from the table, emitting a terrifying aura. A 4th layer spiritual ocean tier martial artist was too strong, much stronger than a 3rd layer spiritual ocean tier martial artist. His aura was like a vast ocean, suppressing Lu Ming. Don't! Zhong Yuan stepped forward, causing the ground to rumble with every step he took. What do you want? Qi Yu stepped forward, blocking Lu Ming. Her face turned cold as she glared at Zhong Yuan. So, it's Miss Qi Yu. Miss Qi Yu, please step aside. This person has a grudge with me, and I'll kill him. Zhong Yuan said coldly. No, this is the Red Leopard Tribe. Fighting is not allowed. Qi Yu said coldly. Miss Qi Yu, you'd better step aside. This time, I agreed to go to the Sacred Mountain and participate in the test. But if I don't kill this person, don't blame me for not doing my best during the test. Zhong Yuan sneered. Anyone could hear that this was a threat. Among the 100 or so outsiders who came to the Red Leopard Tribe, Zhong Yuan was the strongest. At the 4th layer spiritual ocean tier, he was the most promising participant in the Red Leopard Tribe's test. These few days, the people of the Red Leopard Tribe were all polite to him, treating him as an honored guest. Naturally, he had the confidence. I want him to die. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke. Hearing Lu Ming's words, Zhong Yuan was stunned for a moment, then laughed loudly. The other 2 3rd layer spiritual ocean tier elders also laughed. Haha, this kid is a Peking. Has he lost his mind? He actually wants Brother Zhong to die. Where did he get his confidence from? Did he say that to Miss Qi Yu and the others? That's even more ridiculous. Does he think he's more important than Brother Zhong? Young people can't recognize themselves. How pitiful, how sad. The 2 old men in the 3rd layer of the spiritual ocean tier laughed loudly, full of mockery. But in the next moment, their smiles froze, because Chi looked at Lu Ming and asked, "Are you serious?" "Yes, I must kill him." Lu Ming was resolute and decisive. "All right, if little brother Lu wants to kill him, I'll do it." At the side, the red leopard elder spoke. With a wave of his hand, a gigantic leopard puppet appeared, emitting a terrifying aura. 7th level of Sea of Souls realm. This cheetah had the aura of a 7th level Sea of Souls realm warrior. That kind of aura was so powerful that it made people's hearts palpitate and despair. Zhong Yuan was completely dumbfounded. He looked at the red leopard elder with a pale face and screamed, "What are you doing? This kid is only a martial king. I'm many times stronger than him. I have a chance at the sacred mountain trial. You should kill him, kill him. Little brother Lu is the benefactor of my red leopard tribe." What did he say? "My red leopard tribe will do our best to satisfy him. Whoever he wants to kill will kill. Now die." The red leopard elder shouted coldly. The cheetah puppet roared and pounced at Zhong Yuan at an unimaginable speed. "No, no, how can this be? I can't accept this." Zhong Yuan roared hysterically, resisting with all his might. But the difference between a puppet in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier and a puppet in the 7th layer was too great. The cheetah puppet clawed out, tearing apart all of Zhong Yuan's defenses and attacks. Then it tore his body into 2 halves. The blood-poisoned sect master, an almighty in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, an expert whose might shook the chaotic astral ocean, was full of ambition and died just like that. He died with incomparable grievance. He didn't even know why he died. Why did the red leopard tribe listen to Lu Ming's every word? The 2 old men in the 3rd layer of the spiritual ocean tier watched this scene dumbfoundedly, almost biting off their own tongues. Then they trembled as they looked at Lu Ming, cold sweat dripping down their backs. The red leopard tribe actually listened to Lu Ming's every word. Lu Ming's one word, and an elder of the red leopard tribe attacked, killing Zhong Yuan in one move. What was going on? They'd both lived for more than 1,000 years, but now they found that their brains couldn't process the situation at all. Lu Ming strode forward, reached out his hand, and grabbed Zhong Yuan's storage ring in his hand. He also swallowed Zhong Yuan's blood essence while he was at it. Then he looked at the 2 old men in the spiritual ocean tier and said coldly, "You've lived for more than 1,000 years, but can't even understand the situation. Pitiful, lamentable." The 2 old men's faces were flushed red, unable to show their faces. These were the words they'd said to Lu Ming just now, but how long had it been? And Lu Ming had returned the exact same words to them. Every word was like a slap to their faces. Lu Ming ignored them. Under Qi Yu's lead, he checked the place. Unfortunately, Xian Yinqing wasn't here, and neither was Kenfei Ryu. "Miss Qi Yu, I need a room. I need to go into seclusion for a while," Lu Ming said. Zhong Yuan was in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, and his blood essence was too strong. He needed to go into seclusion to refine it. No problem. Qi Yu brought Lu Ming to the core area of the red leopard tribe and arranged a room for him. Lu Ming entered the room and entered the Temple of Paragon, beginning to refine the blood essence. He used all of his blood essence to improve the suppressing prison monument bloodline. The stronger the suppressing prison monument bloodline, the more powerful the suppressing prison heaven skill would be. The 9th silver chakra became brighter and brighter, and finally, like the other 9 chakras, it shone brightly. The peak of the 9th grade king stage. However, at the peak of the 9th level king level, it was too difficult to attain divine level bloodline. After Lu Ming refined all of Zhong Yuan's blood essence, he had a feeling that he was still a long way from attaining divine level. He didn't know how much more blood essence he needed to reach the divine grade. Half a day had passed, and Lu Ming walked out of the room. "Lu Ming, you're done with your seclusion?" Lu Ming saw Qi Yu as soon as he came out. Lu Ming nodded and said, "You've been waiting for me?" Not really. I just arrived. Do you want to walk around? Chi Yu said. No, I'll go to the Thousand Snake Valley to hunt poisonous snakes. How do I get there? Lu Ming shook his head and said, I'll take you there. That's the Shadow Snake tribe's territory. If there are too many people, it'll attract their attention. How about just the two of us go? Chi Yu said. All right. Lu Ming nodded. The two of them left the Stone City and headed west. The Thousand Snake Valley was 30,000 miles west of the Red Leopard tribe. This was the Shadow Snake tribe's territory. It was said that this was the Red Leopard tribe's territory a few decades ago. Later, the Red Leopard tribe lost a large area of land, and the Thousand Snake Valley fell into the hands of the Shadow Snake tribe. The two of them rode on the puppet and arrived in less than half a day. Chapter 708. The vast mountains stretched as far as the eye could see. Between the vast mountains, there was a huge valley. The valley was about 100 miles long, and it was quiet all around. This was the 10,000 Snakes Valley. There were all kinds of poisonous snakes in the valley, tens of thousands of them. Other demonic beasts did not dare to come close to this place, so it was very quiet. The wind whistled as Lu Ming and Chi Yu descended from the sky on the cheetah puppet and landed at the entrance of the 10,000 Snakes Valley. The two of them put away the puppet and walked into the 10,000 Snakes Valley. Swoosh! Swoosh! Before they had gone far, a black, venomous snake shot towards the two of them like a bolt of black lightning. Bang! Chi Yu lightly stepped on the ground, and inscriptions appeared on the ground, forming a large inscription array. Dozens of arrows shot out from the inscription array and shot towards the black figures. With a light sound, those black snakes were accurately shot and were sent flying in all directions. The two of them continued forward. The valley was very wide, at least 10 miles long. It was covered with dense weeds, all kinds of old vines, low ancient trees, and piles of rocks. In some places, there were even swamps that were full of stench. Such an environment was most suitable for poisonous snakes to breed. As they moved forward, they encountered many poisonous snakes. However, these poisonous snakes were all below LV5, which was equivalent to the martial ancestor realm. Whether it was Lu Ming or Chi Yu, they were easily dealt with. Moreover, the blood essence of these poisonous snakes was useless. Lu Ming needed the blood essence of Martial King level poisonous snakes. When the two of them walked for more than 20 miles, the level of the poisonous snakes began to increase. Hiss hiss, a colorful poisonous snake slithered towards Lu Ming. The snake's forked tongue stretched out, and wisps of poisonous fog filled the air. King level poisonous snake, I finally see one. A smile appeared on Lu Ming's face. He stepped forward and stretched out his hand. This poisonous snake did not have the slightest strength to resist and was caught in Lu Ming's hand. With a jolt of his true essence, the poisonous snake turned into ashes at a speed visible to the naked eye. In Lu Ming's palm, there were only 9 drops of blood essence rolling around each other like blood-red pearls. Swoosh! Swoosh! Then Lu Ming suspended the 9 drops of blood essence in the air. His hands quickly inscribed inscriptions into the 9 drops of blood essence. After a while, the 9 drops of blood essence exploded with a bang, turning into a cloud of blood mist that filled the air. It's done! Lu Ming smiled faintly. He then took out a jade bottle and absorbed all the blood mist into the jade bottle. He wanted to use the snake's blood essence to refine the blood mist and use it together with the crimson blood sand to break the last 36 formations. This was also the reason why his inscription level was not high enough. If he had become a level 6 inscription master and mastered some level 6 inscriptions and level 6 arrays, he would not have needed to use these materials to break the 36 arrays. 60 to 70,000 li away from the 10,000 Snake Valley was another large tribe, the Een Snake tribe. The Shadow Snake tribe was very powerful. In the past few decades, they had annexed many of the red leopard tribe's territories. Their strength had increased rapidly. The red leopard tribe could not be compared to them. In the ancient city of the shadow snake tribe, Xian Yinqing looked into the distance from a pavilion made of huge rocks. Her eyebrows were tightly knitted. She didn't come to the shadow snake tribe of her own accord. She was captured. Now, on her wrists and ankles there was a ring. This ring was like a snake coiled around her body, and there were complex inscriptions carved on it. This ring had the power to seal. It sealed Xian Yinqing's true qi and even her inscription flame. She could not use any of her cultivation. Otherwise, she would have escaped long ago. Creak! The door of the room was opened. A young man walked in. This young man was tall and slender. He was handsome, but his eyes were long and narrow. He gave people a very gloomy feeling. As soon as he walked in, the young man's gaze wandered around Xian Yinqing's body. Traces of burning flames flashed in his eyes. It was a strong desire to possess her. "What are you doing here again?" Xian Yinqing frowned. "Miss Xie, what do you think? Marry me. I won't let you lose out." The young man smiled slightly. It seemed even more gloomy. "Get lost!" Xian Yinqing shouted coldly. She was not polite at all. The young man's face turned cold. He said, "Miss Xie, don't forget where you are. I'm trying to persuade you. Don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Get lost." Xian Yinqing's reply was still one word. "Good, good, very good. Let's wait and see." In the young man's eyes, evil flames flashed. They wandered around Xian Yinqing's body a few times. Then he strode away. "This bitch, I want you to kneel in front of me and beg me this morning." The young man's heart was burning with anger. Who was he? The son of the Shadow Snake Tribe's patriarch, the future successor of the Shadow Snake Tribe in Quebec. He had great talent. What couldn't he get? But a few days ago, when he saw Xian Yinqing, he was stunned. Xian Yinqing was too beautiful. Moreover, she was completely different from the women in the underground world. Most of the women in the underground world were more boorish. Their skin was bronze and slightly rough. But Xian Yinqing had jade-like skin and a graceful figure. He was immediately attracted. He captured Xian Yinqing and wanted to make Xian Yinqing his 18th concubine. But with Xian Yinqing's character, the result was obvious. How could she agree? In Kei walked in the courtyard with a gloomy face. "Young master, what's wrong? That woman hasn't agreed?" A skinny old man walked up and asked. "That's right. This bitch not only didn't agree, but also told me to get lost." "Old Kuei, what can you do?" In Kei asked. "Young master, since she doesn't want to do it the hard way, then let's do it the hard way. What's done can't be undone." The skinny old man sneered. "Old Kuei, I also thought about it. But even if her true yuan and spirit fire are sealed, her physical strength is still very strong. I'm afraid that if we use force, she will commit suicide. Otherwise, I would have done it long ago." In Kei said, whenever he thought of Xian Yinqing's graceful figure, an evil fire would burn in his body. "Young master, this is easy. Right now is the breeding season for poisonous snakes. In the Thousand Snake Valley, the Snake Desires flower is in full bloom. The fragrance of the Snake Desires flower has no effect on those who have true yuan or spiritual fire. However, if one does not have true yuan or spiritual fire to protect their body, the moment they smell the fragrance of the Snake Desires flower, their entire body will go limp and they will lose all strength. At that time, young master will be able to do whatever you want." The skinny old man smiled sinisterly. In Kei's eyes lit up. Then he laughed and said, "Old Kuei is indeed resourceful. All right, let's do it this way. Old Kuei, take a few people with you and use the excuse of going hunting to relax. Take that bitch and follow me to the Thousand Snake Valley. This time, I want to make that bitch wish she was dead." "All right, I'll do it right away." Old Kuei bowed. Chapter 709. Xian Yanqing didn't want to go at first, but the other party welcomed her with a smile and said that he was only taking her hunting to relieve her boredom. Xian Yanqing couldn't refuse. If she refused, she was afraid that the other party would use force. Not long after, they arrived at the Thousand Snake Valley. The 9 of them walked in. In the beginning, they were indeed hunting poisonous snakes to concoct some medicine. Soon, they were more than 30 miles away from the valley. You guys hunt poisonous snakes in this area. I'll bring Miss Xia Nianqing to the front to take a look. Yin Kei instructed. All right, young master. You guys go ahead. Elder Kuei said with a smile. There was a hint of eeriness in his smile. Miss Xia, let's continue forward. Yin Kei said to Xia Nianqing. Xia Nianqing frowned. She had a bad feeling in her heart, but given the current situation, she could only agree. She made up her mind that if Yin Kei had any ill intentions toward her, she would rather die than let him have his way. Xia Nianqing nodded and followed Yin Kei into the valley. Soon, the 2 of them walked another 5 or 6 miles. This place was filled with red flowers. These flowers were very strange. They were in the shape of snakes, like small snakes. Furthermore, they emitted an intoxicating fragrance. It was very pleasant to the smell. Along the way, Yin Kei didn't do anything strange. Xia Nianqing gradually relaxed and walked slowly. However, Xia Nianqing gradually felt that something was wrong. She felt her body getting weaker and weaker. She was smart. She suddenly thought of something and her face turned pale. She ran a few steps forward and said, Yin Kei, what did you do to me? Did you use poison on me? Hee. When Yin Kei saw that Xia Nianqing's body was indeed weak, he laughed sinisterly and said, I didn't poison you, but this place is full of snake desire flowers. The pollen of snake desire flowers is equivalent to poison for people who can't use spiritual flame and spiritual origin. Anyone who smells it will feel weak all over. Ha ha ha. Yin Kei laughed. What are you trying to do? Xia Nianqing kept retreating. She felt more and more weak. Hee, what are you doing? Bitch, I don't care what status you have outside the underworld. Here, you better behave yourself. I want to marry you as a concubine because I think highly of you. You actually rejected me time and time again and even dared to scold me. Now, I'll let you know the consequences of rejecting me. Evil flames danced in Yin Kei's eyes as his gaze wandered around Xia Nianqing's body. The flames in his eyes grew stronger and stronger. In your dreams, Xia Nianqing shouted. Her spine suddenly emitted a red glow. Immediately after, her body dashed forward, rushing towards the depths of the 10,000 Snakes Valley. Damn it! Yin Kei angrily shouted. He hadn't expected that Xian Yanqing's Zhanyuan and spiritual fire would be sealed, but he was still able to display such a strange power. In a moment of carelessness, Xian Yanqing had run 100 meters away. Immediately, he chased after her with extreme speed. Xian Yanqing's Zhanyuan and spiritual fire were sealed. Her body was special, so she could borrow some of the power of her bloodline. However, it wasn't much. Before she could run a mile, the power of her bloodline dissipated. She felt her body grow weaker and weaker. She staggered and almost fell to the ground. Yin Kei chased after her from behind. Hee, let's see where you can run to. Wait a moment, I'll serve you well. After running for a while, Xian Yanqing was drenched in sweat. Her thin clothes were wet, causing them to stick tightly to her body. Her curves were even more soul-stirring. Yin Kei's evil flames erupted. His entire body was hot, and he couldn't help but swallow his saliva. Xian Yanqing's eyes revealed a trace of despair. She touched her waist, and a small dagger appeared in her hand. She pressed it against her chest and looked at Yin Kei resolutely. If you want to use force, I'll die. Yin Kei stopped in his tracks. His face was gloomy as he coldly said, I don't believe that you'll throw away your life. After saying that, he strode forward. Lu Ming, you idiot. Where are you? Perhaps we won't be able to meet again. Xian Yinqing closed her eyes and stabbed the dagger in her hand into her chest. In the depths of the Thousand Snake Valley, Lu Ming took out a jade bottle and collected a cloud of blood mist. Then he frowned. He didn't know why, but he had been feeling uneasy since just now. An inexplicable feeling of irritation appeared in his heart. This was somewhat inconceivable. At Lu Ming's current level, his martial heart was stable. Ordinary things wouldn't make Lu Ming feel irritable. However, he had been feeling inexplicably irritable since just now. He didn't know why. "Kid, what's wrong with you? You're not in the right state." Dandan saw Lu Ming's state. "I don't know why, but I've been feeling inexplicably irritable since just now. I keep feeling uneasy." Lu Ming said, "Inexplicably irritable and uneasy?" The deeper a martial artist's cultivation base is, the more they'll be connected to the laws of the unseen world. Therefore, any emotion won't be born without a reason. Something must be happening. Dandan said. Lu Ming nodded. In ancient times, there were some supreme experts who could even foresee some parts of the future. It was mysterious and unfathomable. Wait a moment. Dandan closed its eyes and waved its pair of front claws. Inscriptions were produced. After a while, Dandan suddenly opened its eyes and said anxiously, "Not good, kid. Your little lover is in danger." What? Lu Ming was stunned, but he immediately reacted. Dandan was talking about Xian Yinqing. "Little Qing, what's wrong with her? Where is she?" Lu Ming asked hurriedly. "Just a few miles away. Go quickly. It'll be too late if you don't." Dandan shouted. Whoosh! Without the slightest hesitation, Lu Ming burst out. His figure was like a bolt of lightning as he rushed out of the myriad snakes. Chi Yu's eyes moved. Inscriptions appeared on her body and formed a pair of wings. With a flap, she turned into a phantom and followed. Under Lu Ming's full strength, a few miles of distance only took a few breaths. When Lu Ming arrived, he was just in time to see Xian Yinqing's dagger stabbing at her heart. Blood flowed out. It was a shocking sight. Boom! At this moment, it was as if thunder had exploded in Lu Ming's mind. With just a glance at such a scene, he roughly knew what was going on. "Little Qing!" Lu Ming roared. His figure pounced at Xian Yinqing like a bolt of lightning. His true essence rolled up and wrapped around Xian Yinqing's arm, preventing her dagger from continuing to stab. However, Lu Ming was still a little slower. Xian Yinqing's dagger had already pierced through his flesh. A part of it had already pierced his heart. Fortunately, it wasn't too deep. Lu Ming hugged Xian Yinqing's slender waist. His true essence crazily poured into Xian Yinqing's body to protect Xian Yinqing's heart. "Fool, you're here. I thought I'd never see you again." Xian Yinqing blinked her big eyes and stared at Lu Ming in a daze. She was afraid that all this was a dream. "Don't speak," Lu Ming said. His true essence continued to pour in. His true essence was the battle dragon true essence. It had a strong vitality and successfully sealed Xian Yinqing's heart. At the same time, Xian Yinqing's wound was slowly healing. Chapter 710. Lu Ming's appearance stunned In Quebec, seeing how close Xian Yinqing and Lu Ming were. In K's eyes were filled with jealousy. He shouted coldly, "Kid, who are you?" "She's my woman. Get out of my way." Whoosh! At this moment, Chi Yu arrived. "Chi Yu, it's you? How dare you trespass into the In Snake tribe's territory? You're courting death." In K's eyes were filled with murderous intent when he saw Chi Yu. "In K!" Chi Yu's face darkened when he saw In Quebec. Lu Ming raised his head and looked at In Quebec. A violent, murderous intent erupted from his body. A cold voice came from Lu Ming's mouth. "Today you must die!" "Haha, kid, you want to kill me? Brat, just because you dare to hug my woman, I will definitely make you beg for death." In K sneered. "Kill!" Lu Ming waved his hand and a giant wolf puppet appeared, pouncing towards In Quebec 4th level divine realm puppet. In K's face changed slightly. He waved his hand and a giant snake puppet appeared. It was also a 4th level spiritual ocean puppet. The two puppets collided with one another and fought fiercely. Kill! Lu Ming held Xian Yanqing with one hand and took a big step forward. A terrifying fist aura exploded forward. Wherever the fist aura passed, the valley shook. As the fist aura passed by, the old vines around the valley exploded and some poisonous snakes turned into powder. In K's face changed. A scroll appeared in his hand. After he opened it, a light shield appeared and covered In Quebec. On the light shield, there were a few poisonous snakes swimming around. Boom! The fist aura landed on the light shield. The light shield kept shaking, but it wasn't broken. Instead, it sent In K flying. Damn it, kill! In K landed on the ground and took out another scroll. As soon as he opened it, a giant snake that was dozens of meters long flew out and pounced towards Lu Ming. The infinite dragon spear appeared in his hand, and with a thrust, a 3-colored true dragon flew out and clashed with the giant snake. However, the tricolored true dragon was actually smashed apart by the giant snake and continued to fly towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. This was obviously Lu Ji's inscription scroll. Its power was equivalent to the attack power of the 4th layer of the spiritual C tier. Roar! Qi Yu controlled the cheetah puppet and pounced forward, colliding with the giant snake. Whoosh! Whoosh! The sound of something flying through the air rang out. Old Kuei had arrived with the other 6 people. Elder Kuei, kill. Kill that brat. Capture Qi Yu and that little bitch alive. In K shouted. Wang! Buzz! Above Elder Kuei's and the others' heads, powerful spiritual energy spread out and formed a terrifying spiritual energy storm. Giant snake puppets appeared in the air. Not good. That's a Tier 5 divine level inscriber, Lu Ming. Let's leave quickly. Qi Yu's expression changed drastically. Elder Kuei was an inscription master equivalent to a 5th level spiritual C realm cultivator. He had lit at least 4 blue spirit lamps. His puppet was also equivalent to a 5th level spiritual C realm cultivator. Qi Yu, help me take care of Shaoqing. Today I must kill him. Lu Ming put down Xian Yanqing and pointed his spear at In Quebec. At this moment, Xian Yanqing was already fine and stood behind Lu Ming. Haha, brat, you can't even protect yourself. And you still want to kill me? You're really dreaming. I've changed my mind now. Elder Kuei, capture him alive. I want him to suffer a fate worse than death. In K laughed loudly, his expression extremely ferocious. Hiss! Elder Kuei controlled the giant snake puppet and pounced towards Lu Ming. The snake's tongue was like a sword, piercing through the void. Qi Yu clenched his teeth and controlled the cheetah puppet to charge forward. However, before he could exchange 2 blows with the giant snake puppet, he was sent flying by the giant snake puppet. In addition, the other 6 people were also extremely powerful. The puppets they controlled were at least at the spiritual sea realm. There were even 2 giant snake puppets that were equivalent to a 4th level spiritual sea realm cultivator. Qi Yu's puppet was entangled by a 4th level spiritual sea realm giant snake puppet, while the other giant snake puppets charged towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's glabella shone, with traces of lightning swimming around. He was prepared to control the thunder cauldron to deliver a fatal blow. Stomp! Stomp! Lu Ming controlled the giant wolf puppet to block in front of him. At the same time, he stomped on the ground crazily. Yeah, watch me. Dandan landed on the ground and waved its claws nonstop. Ao, the gigantic wolf puppet, was entangled by a gigantic snake. It kept howling, and sparks flew everywhere. That gigantic snake was Old Kuei's puppet, and it was too strong. The gigantic wolf puppet kept exploding, and a series of banging sounds rang out. In the end, the giant wolf puppet was completely destroyed and turned into a pile of scrap metal. Kill! Lu Ming shouted. The inscription array appeared and formed a giant bow. An arrow shot towards Yin Ke, like a meteor. Watch me! Dandan waved her claws, and countless inscriptions appeared. Countless vines appeared and wrapped around the 5 or 6 giant snake puppets, binding them tightly. Yin Ke's expression changed. He took out another inscription scroll. After opening it, a battle sword flew out and slashed at Lu Ming's arrow. Kill! Let's use the inscription scroll together and kill that kid. Elder Kuei shouted coldly. An inscription scroll appeared in his hand. The others also had inscription scrolls in their hands. As soon as it was opened, all kinds of attacks poured towards Lu Ming. There were swords, sabers, ice, storms, etc. All of them were equivalent to the spiritual sea realm and above. Some of them were even at the 4th layer of the spiritual sea realm and above. They were too strong. Lu Ming couldn't block them at all. He would be turned into ashes in an instant. Lu Ming! Xian Yinqing and Qi Yu exclaimed. Die! Lu Ming's eyes were cold. Suddenly, a bright light spread out from his eyebrows. A giant cauldron flew out and lightning filled the air. The moment the cauldron flew out, Lu Ming's true origin was instantly absorbed. Even his life essence was sucked away. Using it once would cost him 50 years of life. But Lu Ming didn't care. Today he must kill Yin Quebec. The thunder cauldron grew rapidly. Its terrifying power was vast and mighty, as if it could destroy the heavens and the earth. At this moment, everyone felt the fear of facing the heavens. Retreat! Retreat! Elder Kuei's pupils shrank rapidly as he frantically retreated. Not only him, but everyone else frantically retreated. At the same time, the inscription scrolls appeared and a light screen enveloped their bodies, especially in Quebec. He opened the inscription scrolls as if they were free. At least 7 light screens enveloped his body. Boom! The thunder cauldron descended and pressed down. Endless power of lightning descended, destroying all life. Pum! Pum! Except for Elder Kuei and Yin Ke, the other 6 died tragically. They were turned into ashes under the thunder cauldron. As for Elder Kuei and Yin Ke, they were like withered leaves in the wind, constantly fluttering. The light screen on Yin Ke's body was constantly destroyed. His face was full of horror and fear, twisted into a ball. Boom! The thunder cauldron fell and rapidly shrank. It flew back into Lu Ming's forehead and disappeared. The 10,000 Snake Valley was charred black. Whether it was the ancient trees, weeds, or poisonous snakes, they were all charred black as if they had experienced a lightning tribulation. Chapter 711. Qi Yu was dumbfounded. She did not expect that Lu Ming would suddenly summon a large cauldron and kill 6 experts of the Shadow Snake tribe with one strike. Moreover, Elder Kuei and Yin Ke were heavily injured. She felt like she was in a dream. Huff! Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief and collapsed to the ground. Now, there was not a trace of true origin left in his body. Even his face was very pale, which was caused by his lifespan being sucked away. Lu Ming, are you all right? Xian Yinqing exclaimed softly and walked over to support Lu Ming. Her eyes were filled with worry. Xian Yinqing's body was strong, and her life force was extremely vigorous. Now, the wound on her chest was slowly healing and was no longer a problem. Little Qing, help me over there. I want to kill them. Lu Ming said. Xian Yinqing nodded and helped Lu Ming forward. At this moment, Elder Kuei and Yin Ke were lying on the ground like mud. They were already half dead. In such a situation, they naturally could not control the puppets. The giant snake puppets were all lying on the ground like statues, motionless. Kid, what are you trying to do? Let me tell you, I'm the young master of the Shadow Snake tribe. My father is the tribe leader of the Shadow Snake tribe. If you dare to kill me, you'll definitely die. Inkay shouted. I said, you'll definitely die today no matter who you are. You can't change the result. Lu Ming slowly walked forward with Xie Nianqing's help. Above his head, the green mind fire spread out. His body was weak and he could not use true origin. However, he could still use the mind fire. Kid, I advise you to let us go. Just now, I've already sent a message back. If you kill us, you'll have to wait for the Shadow Snake tribe's crazy revenge. At this moment, Elder Kuei sneered and struggled to move his body. A voice transmission jade talisman appeared in his hand. Haha, Elder Kuei, well done. Inkay roared with laughter. Then he looked at Lu Ming and shouted, Brat, my father has already received the news. You're dead for sure. Now, if you cripple your own arms and legs and give that bitch to me obediently and serve me, I might spare your lives. Little Qing, I can't move right now. I can't even inscribe inscriptions. I'll leave these two to you. Lu Ming spoke to Xie Nianqing as if he hadn't heard Elder Kuei and Inkay's words. All right, Xie Nianqing helped Lu Ming sit down. Holding the dagger in his hand, he walked towards Elder Kuei first. Bitch, what are you trying to do? Inkay roared. You dare? Elder Kuei roared. Xie Nianqing remained unmoved and strode forward. Qi Yu came to Lu Ming's side, wanting to say something but hesitated. Puchi! Xie Nianqing arrived in front of Elder Kuei and swung his dagger. Elder Kuei's head flew far away. Then he walked towards Quebec. No, don't come over. Inkay was terrified, and his face was filled with fear. He didn't expect that Lu Ming and Xie Nianqing would still dare to kill them after knowing that they had been sent back to the Shadow Snake tribe. Where did they get the courage to do so? One had to know that the Shadow Snake tribe was the strongest tribe in the surrounding area. You should have expected this day. Xie Nianqing's eyes were filled with killing intent. His dagger flashed, and Inkay's head fell to the ground. The Shadow Snake tribe was all dead. Lu Ming, we have to leave this place quickly. The experts of the Shadow Snake tribe will be here soon. Qi Yu said, All right. Lu Ming nodded. Qi Yu put away the intact giant snake puppets, then controlled the cheetah puppet to carry Lu Ming and Xie Nianqing towards the red leopard tribe. Lu Ming sat cross-legged on the cheetah puppet's back and continuously circulated the true dragon battle arts to recover his true origin. The side effects of using the Thunder Cauldron were too obvious. He lost all his true origin and felt weak all over. Even if he still had his mental strength, he couldn't even inscribe inscriptions, which was equivalent to being powerless and at the mercy of others. Moreover, after using the Thunder Cauldron this time, he had a rough understanding of its power. The stronger his cultivation, the stronger the power of the Thunder Cauldron after absorbing true origin and essence qi. With his current cultivation, using the Thunder Cauldron should be able to cause a fatal threat to an expert in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, but he might not be able to kill them. Just now, in the Snake tribe, there were 2 inscriptionists equivalent to the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. The reason why he was able to kill them in one blow was because those inscriptionists used their mental strength to control the puppets, and the puppets were entangled by Dandan's array and couldn't turn back to help. They could only rely on inscription talismans to resist, and their defensive power was naturally greatly reduced, which was why they were killed by Lu Ming in one blow. Under normal circumstances, he could at most heavily injure an expert in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, but couldn't kill them. As for the 5th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, he could probably only lightly injure them. Of course, if Lu Ming could step into the spiritual ocean tier, his thunder concept and true origin would increase explosively, and the power of controlling the Thunder Cauldron would also increase crazily. I am so tired. I accumulated so much energy, and it's all used up in one go. Kid, this time, you have to compensate me well. Dandan laid on Lu Ming's shoulder and kept rolling his eyes. In the 10,000 Snake Valley, just a few hours after they left, a gust of wind blew, and a dozen experts rode on giant snake puppets and arrived here. The person in the lead was a middle-aged skinny man with a poisonous snake coiled around his neck. After they arrived, they quickly rushed into the depths of the 10,000 Snake Valley. Soon, an earth-shattering roar was heard. Kid from the outside world, Red Leopard Tribe, kill, kill, kill. The voice rolled, containing endless killing intent. Even many of the poisonous snakes in the 10,000 Snake Valley trembled and shrank back into their caves. Lu Ming and the others returned to the Red Leopard Tribe, and Lu Ming used all his strength to recover his cultivation. At this time, Lu Ming had already recovered a trace of true origin in his dantian. Then he took out a large amount of supreme-grade spirit crystals and devoured the energy in them to recover his cultivation. With a trace of true origin, Lu Ming's recovery speed greatly increased. As soon as Qi Yu returned to the Red Leopard Tribe, he went to find Qi Jinkong to report the situation. What? Lu Ming killed Yin Ke? In a hall, Qi Jinkong's shocked voice was heard. Yes, father. What should we do now? Qi Yu stood in front of Qi Jinkong and asked. Qi Jinkong's face was solemn, and his brows were tightly knitted together. He said, Yin Buhai only has one son, and he has always doted on him. Now that Yin Ke has been killed, I'm afraid he'll go crazy and seek revenge. Pass down the order to strengthen the defenses. Also, I'll inform the elders to come here for a meeting. The atmosphere in the Red Leopard Tribe was tense, and Lu Ming was still trying his best to recover. Half a day after returning to the Red Leopard Tribe, his true origin had finally recovered to its peak. Shao Qing, let me undo the seal on your hands and feet. Walking out of the room, Lu Ming saw Xian Yinqing. Now, Xian Yinqing's injuries were much better, and he was almost fully recovered. Demi, are you all right? Xian Yinqing looked at Lu Ming with concern. I'm fine. Lu Ming walked over and held Xian Yinqing's small hand in front of his eyes and observed the seal ring on her wrist. Chapter 712. After a while, Lu Ming's finger moved in the air. Lines of inscriptions appeared and then disappeared into the ring on Xian Yinqing's hand. Beautiful inscriptions appeared on the surface of the ring, and two poisonous snakes rushed out. The poisonous snakes collapsed in the air. Lu Ming held the ring and shook it with his true yuan. The ring broke into pieces. Then Lu Ming did the same thing and untied all the other rings on Xian Yinqing's body. Boom! As soon as the rings were untied, Xian Yinqing's body emitted a strong aura. Then it slowly disappeared. Idiot, you saved my life this time. So I take back my previous promise. Xian Yinqing said, What promise? Lu Ming was surprised. Of course, the promise to trample you under my feet, idiot. Xian Yinqing blinked her big eyes and rolled her eyes at Lu Ming. Her face revealed a smile. Lu Ming smiled bitterly and touched his nose. He was speechless. Then his eyes flashed. He stretched out his arm and held Xian Yinqing's slender waist. He said, You saved my life. Shouldn't I repay you with my body? Why don't you repay me now? Feeling the heat from Lu Ming's arm, Xian Yinqing's face reddened. Her true qi burst out and she broke free. She said, Repay me with my body? You wish. Seeing that Lu Ming was depressed, Xian Yinqing smiled and said, However, it's not impossible. It depends on your performance in the future. Really? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Not really. Xian Yinqing smiled and then asked about Lu Ming's experience in the past few days. They chatted with each other. In the Red Leopard Tribe's meeting hall, the atmosphere was extremely depressing. Tribe leader, there's a report from the front. The Yin Snake tribe has sent out an army and is rushing towards us. Someone reported. Pass down the order. Don't resist at the front line. Pull back all the troops and retreat to the ancient city, Qi Jin Kong ordered. He then turned to the elders and said, Elders, follow me to the city gate to welcome In Bu Hai. Afterwards, Qi Jin Kong and the elders of the Red Leopard tribe arrived at the western city gate of the ancient city. At this moment, there was already an army stationed around the city gate. About a few hours later, the wind howled, and a faint sound rang out between heaven and earth. Countless giant snake puppets appeared in the sky and on the ground. Each of the giant snake puppets had 1 to 2 people sitting on them. At a glance, there were at least tens of thousands of giant snake puppets, densely packed and filling the entire sky. On the Red Leopard tribe side, dazzling inscriptions appeared on the city walls. Various powerful defensive formations and offensive formations appeared. At the same time, the warriors of the Red Leopard tribe nocked their arrows. The runes on the arrows shone brightly. A great battle was about to break out. The tribe leader of the In Snake tribe, In Bu Hai, walked out and stood in the void. A poisonous snake coiled around his neck and flicked its tongue. In Bu Hai's eyes emitted cold, killing intent. He looked at Qi Jin Kong and said, Qi Jin Kong, your daughter Qiyu and 2 outsiders are despicable and shameless. They sneaked into the territory of the In Snake tribe and ambushed and killed my son in Quebec. Now hand them over, and I'll retreat and let the Red Leopard tribe go. Haha, In Bu Hai, you're really good at talking nonsense. I heard that your son wanted to defile someone's girlfriend and was killed in anger. He was killed in a frontal attack. How can you say that it was a sneak attack? Qi Jin Kong laughed. Humph, what defile? That bitch should be honored that my son likes her. Their lives are nothing compared to my son's. How can you compare to my son? Qi Jin Kong, I advise you to look at the situation clearly. Don't bring about the destruction of your Red Leopard tribe. In Bu Hai said coldly. That's impossible. Qi Jin Kong answered without hesitation. In Bu Hai frowned, and his face turned gloomy. His eyes flickered, and he said, How about this, Qi Jin Kong? I know you can't bear to part with your daughter. I don't want you to hand over Qiyu. As long as you hand over the 2 people from the outside world, I will retreat. Impossible. Qi Jin Kong answered with the same words. In Bu Hai's face darkened completely. He said, Qi Jin Kong, don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. I'll give you 3 days to discuss this. After 3 days, if you don't hand over the 2 outsiders, I'll lead the army to flatten the Red Leopard tribe. I'll wipe out the Red Leopard tribe forever. After saying that, In Bu Hai waved his hand and left with his men. Soon, the army of the In Snake tribe retreated. In Bu Hai was not afraid of the Red Leopard tribe. He had mobilized the army in a hurry, and they were not strong enough. If he attacked the Red Leopard tribe rashly, both sides would suffer great losses. He also needed time to gather more power. After the In Snake tribe retreated, Qi Jin Kong heaved a sigh of relief. Pass down my order. Gather all the forces of the Red Leopard tribe and guard the ancient city. Elders, follow me to the meeting hall, Qi Jin Kong ordered. After a while, the meeting hall of the Red Leopard tribe was filled with more than 20 people. Not only were the elders of the Red Leopard tribe there, but many ordinary elders were also there. Tribe leader, I think we should just hand over the 2 young men. Why do we have to start a war with the In Snake tribe for 2 outsiders? Yes, tribe leader. Those 2 young men overestimated themselves and dared to kill in Quebec. They were digging their own graves. We can't implicate the Red Leopard tribe for 2 outsiders. Some ordinary elders persuaded Qi Jin Kong to hand over Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. No, Qi Jin Kong's voice was heard. No. Tribe leader, why not? Some of the elders asked in confusion. At this point, I won't hide it from you. Lu Ming was able to crack the array that sealed the previous clan leader. Now he has already cracked 100 array formations. There are only 36 array formations left. He will be able to crack all of them in a few days. By then, we will be able to find the inscription secret manual of our tribe and return our red leopard tribe to its peak. Chi Jinkong said. His voice swept across the place like a storm. What? Is that true? Many of the elders were astounded before falling silent. They finally knew why Chi Jinkong wanted to protect Lu Ming. It was related to the rise and fall of the red leopard tribe. Tribe leader, I don't think so. A voice was heard. It was Chi Jinkong. He had been summoned back for a meeting after such a serious incident. Chi Jinkong walked out and said loudly, there are only 36 formations left. We don't know if Lu Ming can crack them. Besides, even if he does, we will get the secret book of inscription. So what? The Een Snake tribe will destroy our tribe before we can rise. I think we should hand over Lu Ming and that woman to stabilize the Een Snake tribe. That way, we can at least prevent our tribe from being destroyed. Chi Jinkong's words made many elders ponder. Indeed, Chi Jinkong's words were reasonable. What was the point of getting the secret book of inscription if the tribe was destroyed? Chapter 713. Seeing everyone's expression, Chi Jinshan had a smug look on his face as he continued. Moreover, there are only 36 sealing arrays left. As long as we hand over Lu Ming and that lady, we can stabilize the Een Snake tribe and slowly think of ways to crack the last 36 arrays. This is the best plan. That's right, Elder Chi Jinshan is right. An elder spoke, supporting Chi Jinshan's words. Chi Jinshan's eyes flashed with excitement. I object. Our tribe is indebted to Lu Ming. If we treat someone who is indebted to us in this way, how will others view our tribe in the future? Moreover, the most important thing now is the awakening of the ancient ancestor. As long as we stop the attack of the Shadow Snake tribe, we will enter a period of truce. If Lu Ming can awaken the ancient ancestor will definitely value our tribe. That's the foundation of our rise. Chi Yu's second uncle, Chi Jintian, said. That's right. I agree with second brother. Chi Jinkong said. Second brother, patriarch, you think too highly of Lu Ming. This time there are many outsiders. How do you know that Lu Ming is the destined one? We can't bet the fate of our tribe on such a small possibility. Now, we have to deal with the Shadow Snake tribe. Protecting our tribe is the key. Chi Jinshan said loudly. Many people nodded their heads. What if I can destroy the Shadow Snake tribe? Suddenly, a voice came from outside the main hall, causing everyone's heart to tremble. Everyone's gaze involuntarily turned towards the outside of the main hall. 3 youthful figures walked in. Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, and Chi Yu. The words just now were spoken by Lu Ming. You, or this is our tribe's meeting hall. How can you bring 2 outsiders in? Chi Jinshan scolded. Don't worry. Lu Ming is our benefactor. You can come in to discuss. Chi Jinkong waved his hand, causing Chi Jinshan's face to darken. Chi Jinshan looked at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, what did you just say? Can you destroy the Shadow Snake tribe? Not bad. Lu Ming nodded. Ha ha ha. What shameless boasting. You're just a heaven-rank inscription master? To be able to exterminate the Shadow Snake tribe, brat. Do you know how strong the Shadow Snake tribe is? What a joke. Chi Jinshan laughed loudly, revealing a mocking expression. Hee hee, I remember you also said that I was boasting shamelessly. How could a mere Tian realm break the seal? How did I break it in the end? Lu Ming replied indifferently. Chi Jinshan's face turned red. Back then he had indeed said such words. But reality proved that his words were nothing but nonsense. Humph. This matter and the matter of breaking the seal are 2 completely different matters. The Shadow Snake tribe is incomparably powerful and reigns supreme over 10 tribes in the surrounding area. How could it be destroyed so easily? Chi Jinshan scolded coldly. Of course, I have my ways, Lu Ming said. If you have an idea, why don't you share it with us so that we can see if your idea will work? Qi Jinshan said, I can't tell you now. Even if I do, I'll only tell the patriarch. Lu Ming said, You're just trying to stall for time. Why would you say such nonsense? Qi Jinshan snapped, Because I don't trust you. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. What? Kid, what do you mean by that? How dare you slander me? I'll kill you right now. Qi Jinshan roared furiously. That's enough, sixth brother, back off. I trust Lu Ming. At that instant, Qi Jinshan spoke with an unquestionable tone. I trust Lu Ming too. Me too. Qi Jintian and the other elders spoke one after another. Qi Jinshan and a few elders with great authority spoke, causing the others to fall silent. Thank you for your trust. Patriarch, can you ask the others to back off? Senior Qi Jinshan and the elders can stay. I have a plan to eliminate the Shadow Snake tribe. Lu Ming said. All right, all of you back off. Qi Jinshan waved his hand, leaving no room for doubt. Qi Jinshan's face turned ghastly pale. He gritted his teeth and backed off. Soon, only Qi Jinshan, and a few elders were left in the hall. Of course, Qi Yu and Xian Yinqing were also there. Lu Ming, do you have a plan to eliminate the Shadow Snake tribe? Qi Jinshan's eyes flashed with hope. He would be satisfied as long as he could stop the attack of the Shadow Snake tribe, let alone eliminate them. Patriarch, if the Shadow Snake tribe attacks the Red Leopard tribe, should they attack from the sky or from the ground? Lu Ming did not answer the question. Of course, from the ground. If they attack from the sky, they will be covered by our arrows. They can't inscribe formations in the sky to resist the arrows. If they use inscription talismans, they won't be able to afford it. If they attack from the ground, they can cooperate with each other. One person can control the puppets, and the other can inscribe formations to resist our arrows. At the same time, they can shoot arrows to fight back. Qi Jinshan explained. Lu Ming smiled and said, That's good. If I have a way to cut off the connection between the people of the Shadow Snake tribe and the puppets, are you sure you can defeat the Shadow Snake tribe? What? Cut off the connection between the people of the Shadow Snake tribe and the puppets? Qi Jinshan's eyes were blazing with fire. The others were almost the same. If we can do that, we can lead the puppet army and annihilate the Shadow Snake tribe. Qi Jinshan's eyes were extremely bright. He stared at Lu Ming. If they could really annihilate the Shadow Snake tribe, the prestige of the Red Leopard tribe would definitely soar, and their strength would improve rapidly. That's good. I know a formation. As long as it is set up, the puppets controlled by the enemy can enter the formation and cut off the connection between the people and the puppets. As long as the formation is set up outside the ancient city, the Shadow Snake tribe will die if they attack. Lu Ming smiled confidently. There's such a wonderful formation. Qi Jinshan was shocked. He then frowned and said, If that's the case, won't the people of my tribe be cut off from the puppets when they rush in? Don't worry. I have a little trick to control the puppets. After using it, you can avoid being cut off from the puppets by the formation. It's very easy to learn. You can learn it in a few hours. Lu Ming took out a jade badge and gave it to Qi Jinshan. He said, Patriarch, you can teach this little trick to some of your trusted subordinates, but don't tell them what it's used for. It will be troublesome if it's spread. Good, haha. Qi Jinshan took it and laughed excitedly. The others were also very excited. There's no time to lose. I'll go and carve the formation now. But Patriarch, you'd better keep an eye on the elder of Qi Jinshan. Lu Ming seemed to be implying something. Qi Jinshan's eyes flickered. He said thoughtfully, Don't worry. I know what to do. Chapter 714. Of course, Dandin had told him about the formation. It was indeed mysterious and was an ancient formation that had been extinct for a long time. However, the formation had a shortcoming. It was too complicated to inscribe and would take a long time. It could not be activated instantly and was only useful against puppets. Hence, it had slowly disappeared in the long river of history. However, it was suitable for the current situation. Lu Ming walked out of the west gate and started to inscribe the formation. Lines of complicated inscriptions sank into the ground and disappeared. Time passed slowly. The Red Leopard tribe began to call back their forces to guard their headquarters. The Shadow Snake tribe also began to gather their forces to prepare for the war. The surrounding tribes were waiting and watching. Even if the Shadow Snake tribe could destroy the Red Leopard tribe, they would definitely suffer losses. The other tribes would sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. Soon, 3 days had passed. On the third day, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Qi Yu, Qi Jinkong, and the others stood on the city wall. There were people everywhere on the city wall. In the sky above the ancient city, many people summoned puppets and sat on the backs of the puppets, floating in the sky. "They're here!" Qi Jinkong suddenly shouted. In the sky, 3 gigantic snake puppets flew towards them. They were Yin Buhai and the 2 elders of the Yin Snake tribe. Even more members of the Shadow Snake tribe's army rode on giant snake puppets and appeared behind them on the ground. Yin Buhai and the 2 elders stopped a few miles away in the sky. "Boy, did you kill my son?" The first thing Yin Buhai did was look at Lu Ming. His voice was cold and emotionless. Yes, he deserved to die. Lu Ming's reply was simple. "Good, very good. Boy, I swear that I will make you suffer the most painful torture in the world. I will make you face the dilemma of life and death." Yin Buhai's eyes were terrifyingly gloomy, like a poisonous snake. Then he looked at Qi Jinkong and said, "Qi Jinkong, it seems like you don't want to hand him over? Do you want the entire Red Leopard tribe to die with this boy? Try me if you dare," Qi Jinkong said. His attitude was very clear. "Good, very good. It seems like you have forgotten the dignity of the Shadow Serpent tribe because we haven't attacked for a few years. Since that's the case, the Red Leopard tribe shall be destroyed." Yin Buhai's voice spread far and wide. As soon as he said the words "should be destroyed," shocking battle cries came from behind him. "Kill! Flatten the Red Leopard tribe! Kill all the men! Leave the young women behind!" The people of the Shadow Snake tribe shouted one after another as they controlled the giant snake puppets to continue charging towards the ancient city of the Red Leopard tribe along the ground. There were too many people. There were at least 20,000 giant snake puppets, and each of them had 2 people sitting on them. One of them was inscribing defensive formations, while the other was controlling the puppets and shooting arrows at the same time. "Bow and arrow ready." Qi Jin waved his hand. Instantly, tens of thousands of people knocked their arrows. "Release." The golden, empty-handed hand waved again. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A dense rain of arrows shot towards the Shadow Snake tribe's army in the distance. Every arrow had a talisman stuck on it. There were powerful explosive talismans and gale talismans that could increase speed and penetration. More than 10,000 arrows were densely packed, covering the sky and the sun. In the army of the Shadow Snake tribe, inscription formations shone, and light shields appeared one after another, enveloping the puppets and people. At the same time, some people also drew their bows and shot arrows at the Red Leopard tribe. Similarly, the ancient city chief of the Red Leopard tribe also shone with an inscription formation. Boom! Boom! Explosions rang out endlessly, and the ground trembled and swayed continuously. This was a battle between inscriptionists. It was completely different from a battle between martial artists. However, the momentum was not small at all. However, the Shadow Snake tribe had more people and more experts. They kept pushing forward and shooting arrows. The Red Leopard tribe was already at a disadvantage. "Summon the puppets and prepare for battle," Qi Jinkong ordered. The defensive light shield formed by the inscription formation on the ancient city was shaking and would not last long. More and more leopard puppets appeared on the city wall and in the sky. The army of the Shadow Snake tribe was getting closer and closer. They were only a few miles away from the ancient city of the Red Leopard tribe. Lu Ming stood on the city wall and glanced into the distance. "It's about time." Suddenly, Lu Ming whispered. His hands suddenly shone with a green light and started to inscribe in the air. In the end, it turned into an inscription formation and landed on the ground outside the city wall. "Formation, rise!" Lu Ming shouted. Buzz! At this moment, the entire ground seemed to tremble. Then, countless inscriptions appeared on the ground. One formation after another. There was no telling how many of them there were. They covered an area of 30 miles in both length and width. Yes, Lu Ming had spent 3 days and tried his best to inscribe the formation in the area of 30 miles. Almost all of the Shadow Snake tribe was covered. At this moment, the Shadow Snake tribe was in an uproar. What's going on? Why can't I control the puppets? Me too. It seems that my connection with the puppets has been cut off. How can this be? Let me try. I can't control them either. All kinds of horrified cries were heard. Those who were only inscribing formations to help summon their puppets, but the result was the same. They were all cut off from the puppets. The tens of thousands of giant snake puppets stood there motionlessly like stones. Kill! Kill! Puppet army, kill them! Qi Jinkong's eyes shone brightly when he saw this, and his eyes flashed with extreme excitement. He knew that he had made the right bet. He took the lead and rushed out of the city. As for those who had been secretly imparted with Lu Ming's puppet manipulation techniques, all of them followed Qi Jinkong. They rode the cheetah puppet and dashed outside. There were 8,000 people in this army. Each of them had a leopard puppet. They were the real elites of the Red Leopard tribe. Originally, there were only 8,000 people, but the Shadow Snake tribe sent out 40,000 elites. They were no match for them at all. But now, the puppets of the Shadow Snake tribe could not be controlled. They could only fight with inscriptions and inscriptions. Their combat strength was much weaker. There was a huge difference between the combat strength of the puppets and the ones without. Qi Jinkong led the 8,000 troops and rushed into the army of the Shadow Snake tribe. Suddenly, all kinds of roars and screams were heard. It was completely one-sided. Although the people of the Shadow Snake tribe tried their best to resist, it was still one-sided. Without the puppets, they lost their most powerful weapon. The people of the Red Leopard tribe controlled the puppets and fought desperately. Chapter 7:15. How could this be? How could this be? In the sky, Yin Buhai roared in disbelief. Kill! Several elders of the Red Leopard tribe controlled their puppets and flew into the sky, charging toward Yin Buhai and the others. The remaining elders cooperated with Qi Jinkong to kill some of the experts of the Shadow Snake tribe. The rest of you control your puppets and surround them in the sky. Kill anyone who tries to escape. Qi Jinkong gave the order from the city wall. There were at least 10,000 people of the Red Leopard tribe who controlled their puppets and flew into the sky to surround the people of the Shadow Snake tribe. Lu Ming stood on the city wall and did not take any action. The outcome of the battle was clear, and there was no need for him to take any action. Moreover, he didn't have any desire to attack. He discovered that the essence blood of an inscription master contained a very limited amount of essence blood. It was also of limited help to him. Only martial Dao experts or powerful demonic beasts would have extremely powerful essence blood. This made sense. Inscription masters mainly cultivated spirit flames, so their physique and vital energy naturally couldn't be compared to experts in the martial Dao. The battle cries resounded through the sky. There were still many people on the Red Leopard ancient city, but most of them had low cultivation and did not have any puppets. Therefore, they did not participate in the battle and only guarded the city wall. As time passed, the battle cries gradually weakened. The air was filled with the smell of blood, and the ground was covered with corpses. The battle lasted for 2 hours before it completely quieted down. The army of the Shadow Snake tribe was almost completely annihilated. Only a few elders with powerful cultivation managed to escape, but they were also severely injured. Even Buhai was severely injured and captured. He was severely injured under the siege of the elders of the Red Leopard tribe. In fact, the Red Leopard tribe's combat power was not much weaker than the Shadow Snake tribe. These experts had risen to power 60 years ago. Bam! Buhai was thrown on the city wall beside Lu Ming's feet. "Brother Lu Ming, I'll leave Buhai to you," an elder of the Red Leopard tribe said. At this moment, the elders of the Red Leopard tribe looked at Lu Ming with gratitude and respect. This battle was all because of Lu Ming. Otherwise, the result would be completely different. How could this be? How could your Red Leopard tribe have such a powerful formation that can sever the connection between humans and puppets? I've never heard of it before. Buhai shouted. "This formation was created by me." Lu Ming said coldly as he looked at Buhai. "It's you? It's you again, ha ha ha. Could it be that the heavens want my Snake tribe to perish?" Buhai shouted unwillingly. "This is called reaping what you sowed." Little Ching fell into the hands of your Shadow Snake tribe. If you had treated her well, how could there have been such a disaster? Lu Ming said coldly. Buhai looked at Xian Yanqing and burst into laughter. His laughter was filled with mixed emotions. No one knew whether it was regret or unwillingness. Treat her well. Their Shadow Snake tribe dominated the surrounding dozens of tribes. They were used to being rude and unreasonable. Bullying happened every day in the Shadow Snake tribe. After so many years, the Shadow Snake tribe was still getting more and more prosperous. Nothing happened. Who would have thought that because of a Xian Yanqing, he would provoke someone he shouldn't have? He could only say that he was just unlucky. Bam! Lu Ming took a step forward, and a combat sword was formed. He nailed Buhai to the city wall, and his storage ring fell into Lu Ming's hands. "Warriors of the Red Leopard tribe, follow me and attack the ancient city of the Snake tribe." Qi Jinkong's voice reverberated throughout the area. This time, the Snake tribe had sent out 40,000 elite troops. They wanted to flatten the Red Leopard tribe in one fell swoop. Their defense was definitely the weakest in the ancient city. Now was the best time to attack. "We are willing to follow the tribe leader and flatten the Snake tribe," the warriors of the Red Leopard tribe shouted. Then, more than 10,000 troops controlled the puppets and charged towards the Snake tribe. Lu Ming did not participate in this battle. He returned to the ancient city with Xian Yanqing and cultivated in seclusion. The elites of the Snake tribe had been annihilated. Even Buhai was dead. The outcome of this battle was almost predictable. In the Temple of Paragon, Lu Ming placed the Enlightenment ancient tree beside him. He held a profound earth crystal in his hand. Lu Ming had obtained many kinds of profound earth crystals in the small island in the heaven boundary. The number was not less than the number of profound earth crystals. Now, the force of earth had merged with the 3 essences. It was time to upgrade it. There were 9 common essences of heaven and earth: wind, fire, water, metal, wood, lightning, ice, earth, and mountain. The intent of earth was similar to the intent of earth and mountain, but it was more advanced. It could be said to be the evolved version of the intent of earth and mountain. It was a special intent realm that was full of vicissitudes and ancient vicissitudes. Not only was its offensive power shocking, but its defensive power was also terrifying. It was an extremely powerful intent realm. Now he was only at the beginning stage of the force of earth. He could not display its full power. When Lu Ming upgraded it, the power it could display would be terrifying. Crack! crushing a profound earth crystal Lu Ming began to cultivate. 3 days later, Lu Ming consumed a total of 30 profound earth crystals to cultivate the force of earth to the major completion stage. He was only a step away from the great completion stage. Obviously, the force of earth was harder to cultivate than the 9 common essences. At this time, Lu Ming ended his cultivation. In these 3 days, Qi Jinkong had led the army to fight outside. Now he had finally returned. The Shadow Snake tribe had been annihilated. The ancient city had been destroyed by the Red Leopard tribe. Many people had surrendered to the Red Leopard tribe, especially the land that had been occupied by the Shadow Snake tribe. The Red Leopard tribe's people who had been enslaved by the Shadow Snake tribe had all returned to the Red Leopard tribe. In a short time, the Red Leopard tribe's strength had increased greatly. The surrounding tribes all turned pale with fright. Never in their wildest dreams would they have thought that the extremely powerful Shadow Snake tribe would actually be annihilated. Immediately, those tribes strengthened their defenses, especially those who had enmity with the Red Leopard tribe. They were even more alarmed, and their defenses were strengthened several times. The Red Leopard tribe held a grand celebration. During the celebration, Qi Jinkong and the other leaders of the Red Leopard tribe thanked Lu Ming in front of everyone. This battle was all because of Lu Ming. Many people secretly rejoiced that they had chosen to believe in Lu Ming. Otherwise, how could there be such a result? The Red Leopard tribe had been suppressed since the previous patriarch was killed and sealed. After being suppressed for so many years, they finally had a feeling of exaltation. Naturally, they were excited. Everyone was happy, but there were 2 people who were not happy, and that was Qi Jinshan and Qi Feng. Damn it, how could it be like this? Qi Jinshan growled. His fists were clenched so tightly that cracking sounds could be heard. His eyes were fixed on Lu Ming. If looks could kill, Lu Ming would have been pierced by thousands of holes. Lu Ming frowned as if he had sensed something. He suddenly turned his head to look at Qi Jinshan. Qi Jinshan was startled and hurriedly turned his head. The corner of Lu Ming's mouth curled up into a cold smile. Lu Ming, I knew I wasn't wrong. When I first saw you, I knew you were the legendary man of destiny. Chapter 716. We haven't reached the sacred mountain yet. It's too early to say that I'm the chosen one. I don't know how to awaken your ancient ancestor. Lu Ming smiled. Lu Ming, don't be humble. I have a feeling that you're the only one who can awaken the ancient ancestor in this trip to the sacred mountain. To be honest, if it weren't for the fact that you're an outsider and have to return one day, and that you have such a beautiful confidant like Miss Ye, I really want to keep you by my side and be my man. Qi Yu blinked her big eyes and spoke very directly. Cough, cough. Lu Ming kept coughing. He didn't expect Qi Yu to be so direct. Indeed, the underground humans were different from the outside world. On the side, Xian Yanqing's face turned slightly red as she said, I'm not his confidant. Miss Qi Yu, please keep him as your man. This pervert will definitely be willing. Is that so? Then I won't be polite. Qi Yu giggled and glanced at Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. Pervert, hurry up and agree. Xian Yanqing stared at Lu Ming with his big eyes. Every sentence and every word was especially heavy. Ah, haha, this wine is really delicious. Haha, the moonlight today is really beautiful. Lu Ming picked up a cup of wine and took a big gulp. He laughed awkwardly. However, this was the underground world. Where did the moonlight come from? 2 days later, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Qi Yu, Qi Jinkong, Qi Jinshan, and a few elders of the Red Leopard tribe gathered at the canyon where the previous Red Leopard tribe leader was sealed. The crimson blood sand and viper blood mist were ready. Now they could break the last 36 sealing formations. Lu Ming strode forward and waved his hand. A cloud of crimson blood sand floated in the air. Then he took out a jade bottle that contained the viper blood mist. He opened the jade bottle, and the crimson blood mist flew out and mixed with the crimson blood sand. Then, Lu Ming's finger moved rapidly in the air. It was so fast that afterimages appeared in the air. Whoosh! Whoosh! Inscriptions attached themselves to the scarlet blood sand and the viper blood mist and flew into the ceiling formation in front of them. Everyone held their breaths and watched quietly. Qi Jinkong and the others had expectant looks in their eyes. However, there was one exception, and that was Qi Jinshan. His eyes were filled with anxiety, and his gaze flickered. One, the ceiling formation flickered, and a huge, seven-colored, poisonous snake pounced out. However, the seven-colored poisonous snake was shrouded in a layer of blood-red mist. Bang! The seven-colored poisonous snake collapsed in midair. The first of the last 36 great formations had been broken. Lu Ming continued to decipher. His fingers continuously moved, and the scarlet blood sand and the viper blood mist were continuously consumed. Not long after, the second formation was broken. Just like this, one great formation after another was broken by Lu Ming. Lu Ming had to sit down cross-legged to recover his spiritual fire every time he cracked 9 formations. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. There was only one formation left in the 36 great formations. Qi Jinshan and the others widened their eyes and stared at it. Their eyes were filled with excitement, and even their breathing became heavy. Qi Jinshan clenched his fists and slowly moved to the front, close to Lu Ming's position. As Lu Ming's finger moved, inscriptions fell on the ground one after another. Hiss! This time, a total of 3 seven-colored poisonous snakes flew out and collapsed in midair. The seal is broken. God bless my red leopard tribe. Qi Jinshan shouted and was the first to move. He rushed directly into the valley. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He took a step forward, and a vine rushed out and entangled Qi Jinshan. What's going on? Lu Ming, it's you. What are you doing? Qi Jinshan roared. Why are you in such a hurry? Lu Ming sneered and rushed into the valley. Qi Jinshan roared. A puppet appeared and broke the vines. He also rushed in. At the same time, Qi Jinshan and the others also rushed into the valley. The valley was not big. Not long after they rushed in, Lu Ming saw a skeleton sitting cross-legged against the wall. Lu Ming saw at a glance that the skeleton was holding a jade pendant in one of its claws. There was also a storage ring on its finger. Get lost! Qi Jinshan roared. Lu Ming sneered. His genuine vitality swept out and took the jade pendant from the skeleton's storage ring into his hand. Lu Ming, what are you doing? You want to steal the treasure of the previous tribe leader? You're courting death. Qi Jinshan's eyes turned cold. He controlled the puppet and charged at Lu Ming. Clang! At this time, another puppet rushed out and blocked Qi Jinshan's puppet. It was Qi Jinshan's turn. Tribe leader, don't block me. You should have seen that this kid has ulterior motives. He wants to steal the treasures of the previous tribe leader. Qi Jinshan roared. Qi Jinshan, why are you in such a hurry? Who said that I want to steal the treasures of the previous tribe leader? I'm just handing it to the tribe leader. Lu Ming waved his hand, and the jade pendant and storage ring flew to Qi Jinshan. Qi Jinshan caught it in his hand. Tribe leader Qi, that jade pendant should be left behind by the previous tribe leader before his death. It should contain some important information. Why don't you take a look? Lu Ming said with a smile. Qi Jinshan's face was gloomy. Qi Jinshan took the jade pendant and sent his spiritual force into it. His face changed drastically and became extremely ugly. Qi Jinshan's figure slowly moved outside. Elders, take down Qi Jinshan. Qi Jinshan suddenly roared. Although the elders were stunned, they did not hesitate. Puppets appeared and surrounded Qi Jinshan in the middle. Tribe leader, what is the meaning of this? Qi Jinshan's face was extremely ugly. What is the meaning of this? Haha, Qi Jinshan, I really didn't expect that you were the one who betrayed the previous tribe leader. If not for that, how could the previous tribe leader be besieged and fall? Before the previous tribe leader died, he recorded everything in this jade pendant. Qi Jinshan, how should you punish yourself? Qi Jinshan roared, his eyes turning red. His heart ached. He had never thought that Qi Jinshan would betray the previous tribe leader. Lu Ming nodded. It was as he had expected. When Qi Yu brought him here and told him that he could break the seal, Qi Jinshan objected with all his might. He even tried to find a reason to kill Lu Ming. It was strange in itself. The others were hoping that Lu Ming could break the seal and let Lu Ming try. Only Qi Jinshan tried his best to stop him. It was as if he was afraid that Lu Ming would break the seal. Hence, Lu Ming had been on guard against him. When he was breaking the last array earlier, Lu Ming had been guarding against him. He used the array to stop him and snatch the items left behind by the previous chief of the Red Leopard tribe. If it landed in Qi Jinshan's hands first, he would definitely destroy the evidence. The elders' faces changed when they heard this. They looked at Qi Jinshan with gloomy faces. Ha ha ha. Chapter 717. Why? Why did you do that? Qi Jinkong asked. It's simple. The resources given to me by the Yin Snake tribe and the Heavenly Wolf tribe were enough for me to break through several levels for hundreds of years. Why didn't I help them? What does the death of the previous chief have to do with me? What does the decline of the Red Leopard tribe have to do with me? Anyway, it's not my turn to inherit the position of chief. Ha ha ha. Qi Jinshan laughed maniacally. Selfish. Selfish. Elders, take Qi Jinshan down, extinguish his spiritual fire, bring him back to the tribe, and execute him in public. Qi Jinkong gave the order. There was no suspense in this battle. The elders were all incomparably powerful. Under the joint forces of the elders, the pure gold mountain had no chance of resisting. Not long after it was taken down, its spiritual flame was extinguished and brought back to the Red Leopard tribe. Lu Ming did not care about what happened next. He focused on cultivating in seclusion, waiting for the truce in the underground world so that he could go to the sacred mountain. There was a 1-month truce in the underground world every year, and half a month before and after the ancestor worship day. During the truce, no tribe was allowed to fight or kill people from other tribes. Anyone who violated this rule would be besieged by other tribes and turned into ashes. There was about half a month before the truce. Xian Yinqing was also cultivating in seclusion like Lu Ming. The Battle of Providence was getting closer and closer, and he felt a sense of urgency. It was said that the top 600 on the list of top 1,000 talents were all at the Sea Spirit Realm, and only a few were at the King Realm. Whether it was Lu Ming or Xian Yinqing, they were far from being able to compete with Sea Spirit Realm geniuses. Lu Ming sat cross-legged in the Temple of Paragon, crushing one earth esoteric crystal after another. He was trying his best to improve the earth momentum. 7 days later, the earth momentum had reached perfection. Lu Ming directly used a mid-grade esoteric crystal to break through to the next level and condense a rune of intent. The earth momentum had successfully evolved to the first level of earth essence. However, this was far from enough. If he wanted to truly unleash a powerful battle prowess, he had to cultivate the concept of earth to perfection. Lu Ming continued to cultivate with the profound earth crystals. In the blink of an eye, another 7 days had passed. Lu Ming had cultivated the profound earth concept to level 1 small success. To increase his power at such a terrifying speed, he had to consume a large number of profound crystal stones. At this moment, it was finally the truce period in the underground world. The Red Leopard tribe was preparing to head to the sacred mountain. Shao Qing, how's your harvest these days? Lu Ming asked as he and Xie Nianqing strolled in the courtyard. Lu Ming asked, "My concept of wind has broken through to the second level. This time I'm faster than you, right?" Xie Nianqing narrowed his eyes and giggled. "He broke through level 2? Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Xie Nianqing's talent was indeed terrifying. His concept of thunder, concept of wind, and concept of fire were all stuck at the limit of level 1. He was only a step away from level 2, but he couldn't break through. He hadn't expected that Xie Nianqing would already have a concept and break through to level 2. Xie Nianqing's cultivation base had already reached peak king. As long as his destruction concept broke through to level 2, Xie Nianqing would be able to open his spiritual sea and become a Sea of Soul Realm expert. Sea of Soul Realm experts were called Sea of Soul Realm experts and belonged to the first of the 3 realms of Spirit God. It wasn't something King Realm experts could compare to. It was definitely a qualitative leap. However, this step had trapped countless people. The two chatted as they walked. After a while, they arrived at a large plaza outside. A lot of people had already gathered here, one after another. Huge cheetah puppets stopped in the plaza. "Lu Ming, Miss Xie, you're here. We're about to set off." Qi walked over and smiled. This time, Qi Jinkong was personally leading the group. He was accompanied by 2 tribe elders and more than 100 experts of the Red Leopard tribe. Qi Yu was also going. Lu Ming waved his hand, and a huge cheetah puppet appeared on the ground. This cheetah puppet had battle prowess equivalent to the 4th layer of spiritual sea realm. It was a gift from the Red Leopard tribe. Lu Ming and Xie Nianqing leaped onto the cheetah puppet's back. "Everyone's here. Let's go." Qi Jinkong gave the order. Gales whistled as the cheetah puppet rose up and flew toward the north. Like Lu Ming, there were more than 100 people who came from outside the earth. They were going to the Sacred Mountain to participate in the test. The Sacred Mountain was north of the Red Leopard tribe, separated by dozens of large and small tribes. The distance was quite far, so they could only travel without rest. Along the way, no tribe stopped them. After 13 days of nonstop travel, they finally arrived at the foot of the Sacred Mountain and set up camp there. What a majestic mountain! Lu Ming stood at the foot of the mountain and looked ahead. A huge and majestic mountain stood between heaven and earth, straight into the sky, surrounded by clouds and mist. The mountain covered a large area. At the foot of the mountain, one could see one tribe after another, clearly separated. Like the Red Leopard tribe, they set up camp and waited for the outsiders to climb the mountain in 2 days. It was said that the ancient ancestor of the underground lived at the top of this mountain. People from the underground couldn't climb the mountain. It was said that only people from outside the earth could climb the mountain and go through the test. The one who finally reached the top of the mountain could awaken the ancient ancestor. Could this sacred mountain be the real location of the Martial Emperor's treasure? Lu Ming thought. He believed that not only him, but most outsiders also thought so. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. On this day, a dense crowd appeared in all directions of the sacred mountain. "Lu Ming, Miss Xie, it is said that there is an endless inscription formation on the sacred mountain. You can't fly up, you can only climb it on foot." Qi Yu said to Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded. "Let's go." A loud roar was heard. Lu Ming saw that people from another tribe had already rushed up the sacred mountain. Strangely, as soon as those people rushed up the sacred mountain, their figures disappeared. Sure enough, there was a formation on the sacred mountain. Whoosh! Whoosh! However, not long after, Lu Ming saw that some people who had rushed in flew back from the inside. "What's going on? What's going on inside?" Someone hurriedly asked. "You have to pass the tests inside, and experts with the same cultivation base as me will appear. Every time you pass a test, more and more experts will appear. When I fail, I will be bounced back." Someone sighed. It seems that there won't be any danger if you fail. Let's go. Then, even more people rushed into the mountain. Soon, more people were bounced back. Some people from the Red Leopard tribe also rushed in, but they were bounced back soon. The situation they encountered was similar to the others. Experts with the same cultivation base as them appeared to fight with them. The more tests they passed, the more experts would appear later. Let's go, Lil Qing. Lu Ming said. Okay, be careful. Chapter 718. The surroundings suddenly changed. Lu Ming realized that he was standing on a platform. In front of the platform, there was a stone staircase that led upwards. There seemed to be another platform above it. What a mysterious array! I can't even find a trace of it. Lu Ming was quite shocked. With his current level of inscription, he couldn't even find a trace of it. The array here was definitely beyond the 5th grade. No, it was far beyond the 6th grade. It wasn't something he could pry into right now. Kid, the inscription array here is incredible. It was definitely set up by someone with extremely high attainments in inscription. Dandan looked left and right on Lu Ming's shoulder. There weren't many things that could make Dandan say such words. Buzz! At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of Lu Ming. It was a muscular man in his 30s. He looked like a real person, but his expression was very cold. His voice was also very cold. As long as you can defeat me, you can go to the next level. Clang! The sound of a sword rang out. Sword chi was rampant. A battle sword appeared in the muscular man's hand, and he slashed at Lu Ming. Peak King! Lu Ming's expression changed. The person who appeared was indeed at the same level as him, a Peak King. However, Lu Ming could kill martial artists at the same level as him in an instant. With a punch, the exploding fist light directly turned the figure into ashes. Lu Ming strode forward. He walked along the stone staircase and arrived at the second platform. This time, 2 figures appeared on the platform. The 2 figures looked exactly the same as the muscular man from before. Moreover, they were both Peak Kings. As long as you can defeat us, you can go to the next level. As the voice faded, the sound of swords rang out. The 2 muscular men attacked Lu Ming at the same time. Their attacks formed a strange network. Battle array! Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The 2 muscular men weren't using ordinary attacks. Instead, they were cooperating to form a large array. The power wasn't as simple as 1 multiplied by 2. Instead, it was several times stronger. However, it was still nothing to Lu Ming. He punched out. The boundless fist energy drowned the 2 muscular men. When the fist force disappeared, the 2 brawny men also disappeared. Lu Ming continued forward. In the 3rd stage, 4 burly men appeared. Once again, the 4 of them worked together to set up a formation that was even more terrifying. However, he was still crushed by Lu Ming's exploding star fist. He barged through with force. In the 4th stage, there were 8 strong men. In the 5th stage, there were 16 strong men. Every stage, the number of people would double, and the battle formations would be set up, their power terrifying. It was simply impossible for ordinary martial artists to break through. Only a few peerless geniuses could pass through. Soon he reached the 7th stage. There were a total of 64 muscular men in the 7th trial, and all of them were Peak Kings. Their power was unimaginably terrifying. It's just right for me to hone my conception. With the infinite dragon spear in hand, Lu Ming weaved through the crowd. He fused the earth concept with the other 3 concepts, constantly attacking and tempering his own concept. A moment later, the 64 burly men were all killed by Lu Ming. Whoosh! At this moment, a jade token flew toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming reached out and caught the jade token in his hand. What's this? Is this my reward? Lu Ming's mind sank into the jade token, and a trace of joy appeared on his face. In the jade token was a martial skill, a demigod-level martial skill. A demigod-level martial skill was extremely precious. Lu Ming put it away. As he continued forward, the surrounding environment suddenly changed again. This time, Lu Ming came to an underground cave. In the underground cave, there was a pool. The pool water was so clear that one could see the bottom. It seems that there were a total of 7 stages before. Now I've come to another stage. Lu Ming pondered. In this stage, you have to count the ripples in the water clearly. Only by counting the correct ones can you pass. At this moment, a voice rang out. Count the ripples in the water clearly? It seems that this stage tests one's observation skills. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Then he came to the side of the pool. A water droplet fell from above. The water droplet landed on the surface of the water, creating layers of ripples. Lu Ming's mind was highly focused, and his eyes were fixed on the water surface. Layers of ripples continued to spread. At first, they were very clear, but eventually they became fainter and finally disappeared. A total of 1,356 layers. Lu Ming answered, Correct. Look again. The voice rang out again. This time, a total of 2 water droplets fell into the pool. The ripples formed by the 2 water droplets interfered with each other. The difficulty was more than 10 times higher than before. Lu Ming had to count how many ripples were formed by the 2 water droplets. After a while, the water droplets disappeared. 2,537. Lu Ming answered, Correct. Continue looking. The voice rang out again. There's more. Lu Ming frowned. This time, there were 3 water droplets. The ripples formed by the 3 water droplets interfered with each other and became more complicated. Lu Ming observed carefully. After a while, the water droplets disappeared. Lu Ming frowned. In his mind, he kept thinking about the water droplets he saw earlier. How many ripples? The voice asked. 3,600. Lu Ming answered. Congratulations, you've passed the stage. The voice rang out. Then, with the sound of the air being torn apart, a battle sword flew over. Lu Ming grabbed it in his hand. This battle sword is of high quality. It should be a level 6 peerless battle sword. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Spirit weapons were divided into inferior, middle, and superior grades. Above the superior grades were the supreme grades and the peerless grades. Lu Ming's Infinite Dragon Spear was now a level 6 superior grade weapon. The quality of this battle sword was much higher than Lu Ming's Infinite Dragon Spear. It was a pity that Lu Ming couldn't use it. In another cave, Xian Yinqing waved his hand and grabbed a battle sword. A level 6 peerless battle sword. Xian Yinqing kept it and continued to move forward. Like Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing also obtained a demigod-level martial technique and a battle sword. In another cave, Kenfei Ryu also passed 2 stages and obtained a demigod-level martial technique and a battle sword. With this martial technique and battle sword, my combat strength can continue to increase. Kenfei Ryu's eyes were filled with excitement. At this moment, at the foot of the sacred mountain, people were constantly being sent flying. Only Lu Ming and Miss Xia are left. I wonder how they are doing? Qi Jinkong sighed. Almost all of the red leopard tribes, more than 100 outsiders, had failed. Only Lu Ming and Xia Nianqing were still inside. Father, don't worry. I believe that Lu Ming will succeed. Qi Yu's eyes were shining. She had great faith in Lu Ming. The red leopard tribe was still doing well. Many tribes were already sighing because they had been completely wiped out. In the sacred mountain, Lu Ming kept his battle sword and strode forward. The scene around him changed again. In front of him, there were 9 passages that led forward. Chapter 719. There are 9 paths here. Among them, only one is a path of life. The other 8 are paths of death. Once you step into them, you will die without a doubt. Choose one yourself. That voice sounded again. Lu Ming's heart trembled. 9 paths, 8 paths of death and 1 path of life. If he were to choose it himself, the chance of survival would only be 1 in 9. Was this a test of luck? Senior, do you have any hints? Lu Ming asked. There are no hints. Choose freely. The voice sounded. Lu Ming's brows furrowed even tighter. Is it really a test of luck? Impossible. Luck is an illusory thing. No one can say for sure. Since the person who set up these formations wanted to test me, it would not be a test of luck. Otherwise, what's the point of the first 2 stages? It's better to test my luck directly. Lu Ming's mind spun rapidly. You have 5 minutes to consider. If you don't choose, just back off. That voice sounded again. Why do I need 5 minutes? I can make my decision now. Lu Ming smiled faintly and strode toward the path in the middle. 9 paths appeared in front of Xian Yanqing. It was exactly the same as Lu Ming's. Xian Yanqing pondered for a moment and strode toward the 4th path. Kenfei Ryu looked at the 9 paths in front of him and frowned. After pondering for a while, he sighed and turned to leave. After a short while, his figure appeared at the foot of the mountain. Faced with only 1 in 9 paths of life, how many people could make a choice? After Lu Ming stepped into the middle path, he found himself in a huge cave the next moment. The cave was very spacious. In the middle of the cave, there was an altar. At this moment, a light flashed in the cave and another figure appeared. Little Qing. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. It was Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming. Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Ming and walked over with a smile. Sure enough, the 9 paths are a lie. Xian Yanqing said with a smile. It's not really a lie, but it requires a person's courage and wisdom. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming speculated that the previous 9 paths were not 8 paths of death and 1 path of life, but all paths of life. As for saying that there were 8 dead ends, it was purely a bluff. This depended on everyone's judgment. Of course, it also required a lot of courage. For some people, even if they had guessed the answer, whether or not they dared to step in was another matter altogether. What if there really was a dead end? Courage is needed here. Without a doubt, Xian Yanqing and Lu Ming had successfully passed that trial. After a while, no one else appeared except for Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. Sigh, after so many years, someone has finally come here. At that instant, a sigh could be heard. Who? Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's expressions flickered. Aren't you here to find me? The voice could be heard. Following this, Lu Ming saw a figure appear on the altar in the middle. It was a middle-aged man around the age of 40, wearing a long robe with 2 different colors. He floated in midair while emitting a terrifying pressure from his body. The middle-aged man did not unleash his aura, but the pressure was naturally emitted from his body. Lu Ming felt like he was facing the vast heavens and earth, a whole new world. Powerful, too powerful. Lu Ming was astounded. However, it was obvious that the middle-aged man did not have a physical body, but an illusionary one, as if his body was transparent. Powerful, too powerful. This is a martial emperor realm expert. Dandan screamed in fright. Her limbs and head shrank back into the turtle shell. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were astounded. Martial emperor realm expert. Wasn't that a martial emperor? The person before them was a martial emperor? Could it be that the martial emperor's treasure was real? Interesting little tortoise. The middle-aged man glanced at Dandan. Then his eyes fell on Lu Ming, then on Xian Yanqing, as if the sun, the moon, and the stars were changing in his eyes. Interesting little guys, you're hiding a lot of things. The middle-aged man smiled and waved his hand. In that instant, Lu Ming seemed to be unable to control himself. 5 mental rings were suspended above his head. 5 stages and 10 spiritual lamps were lit. Powerful, powerful. I was only like this back then. Ha, good. The middle-aged man laughed. Senior, may I know who you are? Did you set up the entrance to the martial emperor's treasure in the chaotic astral ocean? Lu Ming asked. The man before them should be the ancient ancestor that the people of the underground world talked about. Who am I? Sigh, it's been thousands of years. I've almost forgotten myself. The middle-aged man sighed faintly. After a moment of silence, he said, My name is Liao Tsang. Liao Tsang? Lu Ming was confused. He had never heard of this name before. However, Xian Yinqing exclaimed, Liao Tsang, you're the Talisman Puppet Emperor, the sect leader of the Talisman Puppet Sect, Liao Tsang. Xian Yinqing opened his eyes wide in disbelief. What? He is a Talisman Puppet Emperor? Lu Ming also turned pale with fright, his heart trembling. He had never heard of the name Liao Tsang. But the Talisman Puppet Emperor was something that many people had heard of. There were 4 overlord forces in the Eastern Wilderness: Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, Heavenly Corpse Sect, Sky Monster Valley, and Talisman Puppet Sect. The Talisman Puppet Sect focused on inscriptions. They mainly cultivated the Tao of inscriptions, and martial arts were only supplementary. The Talisman Puppet Emperor was the sect leader of the Talisman Puppet Sect. His Tao of inscriptions had reached level 9, which was equivalent to the Martial Emperor realm. He was as famous as Martial Emperor Di. There were only a handful of martial emperors in the Eastern Wilderness. He could shake the entire Eastern Wilderness with a stomp of his feet. He was even one of the top experts in the entire divine wilderness continent. It was said that the Talisman Puppet Emperor had fallen 3,000 years ago. As for why he had fallen, it had always been a mystery. But why would he appear underground? Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing had countless questions in their hearts. Little girl, you know quite a lot. Your bloodline is very special. You must be from a family in the Middle Continent, right? Liao Tsang smiled. Xian Yinqing didn't say anything. Lu Ming's heart trembled. Middle Continent. Xian Yinqing was from the Middle Continent. Then why was she in the Eastern Wilderness? You must want to know what happened, right? Why am I here? Liao Tsang said. Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing nodded. Actually, I was ambushed. The person who ambushed me was the palace master of the Heavenly Divine Palace, Martial Emperor Di. Liao Tsang said word by word. What? Lu Ming's heart trembled again. The Talisman Puppet Emperor, Liao Tsang, was ambushed by Martial Emperor Di. This was completely out of their expectations. Chapter 720. 3,000 years ago, Liao Tsang was beaten to the point that only a strand of his soul remained. At first, Liao Tsang was filled with hatred and wanted to take revenge. Therefore, he taught the Tao of inscription to the underground humans, hoping to cultivate an Emperor Realm expert to take revenge for him. Therefore, Liao Tsang became the ancestor of the underground humans. However, Liao Tsang discovered that the underground humans had a special physique. Maybe it was because they were underground, they were different from the Tao of heaven and earth. They were separated from the sun, the moon, and the stars. Therefore, the underground humans were not like the people outside who had unlimited possibilities. The humans here could only cultivate to level 6. Yes, level 6 was equivalent to the Sea of Spirit Realm, which was what the underground humans called the Divine Realm. How could a level 6 help him take revenge? Moreover, Liao Tsang's soul could not go out to look for a successor. As an Emperor Realm expert, Di would sense him the moment he went out. Helplessly, Lian Tsang forged the 9 jade swords and found a few level 6 elites. He sent them out of the earth and built an entrance to the underground world. Then he scattered the 9 jade swords all over the place, hoping to find a fated person to enter the underground world and become Lian Tsang's descendant and avenge him in the future. Liao Tsang purposely spread the news that if someone from outside the underground world came in, there would be a fated person who could wake him up. However, as time passed, no one came in. Liao Tsang was already in despair. His strand of soul went into a deep sleep. 3,000 years passed in the blink of an eye. Unexpectedly, after 3,000 years, someone finally came in. Moreover, there were 2 people who made it to the last stage. As soon as Xian Yanqing and Lu Ming entered the last cave, Liao Tsang sensed them instantly due to the array. He woke up from his deep sleep. After hearing this, Lu Ming sighed in his heart. Martial Emperor Di again. He could not help but think of Supreme Nanyang. He was also killed by Martial Emperor Di, leaving only a strand of soul behind. 2 peerless talents. How similar their endings were. You are the Di Tian Divine Guard of the Di Tian Divine Palace, right? I can feel the fluctuation of the Divine Guard medallion on you. Liao Tsang looked at Lu Ming. In his eyes it was as if the sun, the moon, and the stars were spinning. Lu Ming was shocked. Liao Tsang and Di were enemies. Would Liao Tsang kill him? Thinking of this, a layer of cold sweat appeared on his back. Xian Yanqing moved in front of Lu Ming and stared at Liao Tsang. Even if he was an Emperor realm expert, if he wanted to kill Lu Ming, he would have no choice but to fight. Haha, the 2 of you have a good relationship. You're also very brave. I like it. Liao Tsang laughed. Xian Yanqing's face was slightly red, but he still gritted his teeth and stood in front of Lu Ming. Looking at Xian Yanqing's slender back, Lu Ming felt very warm in his heart. He took a step forward and held Xian Yanqing's hand, standing side by side with Xian Yanqing. Yes, the 2 of you are equally talented. You're a perfect match. Don't worry, little guys. The enmity between me and Di has nothing to do with others. Moreover, although this little guy is a Di Tian Divine Guard, I'm afraid he hasn't even seen Di's face. Who am I, Liao Tsang? Why would I implicate him? Liao Tsang laughed. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were secretly relieved. To be honest, facing an Emperor realm expert, even if it was just a remnant soul, the pressure was terrifying. The difference was too big. An Emperor realm expert could kill them 8 to 10 times with just a breath. Senior, to be honest, Di and I will be enemies sooner or later. Lu Ming clasped his fist and said, You and Di will be enemies? You're just a martial king. What enmity do you have with him? Wait, could it be the one in your body? Liao Tsang's eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. Buzz. At this moment, Lu Ming's body shone like the sun. In the next moment, a figure appeared and floated in the air. Senior Jiuyang. Lu Ming exclaimed. This figure was Supreme Jiuyang. Junior Jiuyang greets Senior Lien. It's been a few thousand years since we parted. Supreme Jiuyang clasped his fist and bowed to Liao Tsang. Liao Tsang frowned slightly. Then his eyes lit up and he said, You're Jiuyang? What's going on? Based on the fluctuations of your soul, you should have already reached the Exalt realm. With your heaven-defying bloodline and physique, it wouldn't be so easy for ordinary emperors to take you down. How did you end up like this? 3,000 years ago, before Liao Tsang's accident, Supreme Jiuyang had just risen. He was the most dazzling genius of that era. He had seen Liao Tsang a few times. That was why Liao Tsang recognized him. Supreme Jiuyang smiled bitterly and told Liao Tsang about his experience. What? You were also harmed by that old man Di. That old man Di is so despicable. Liao Tsang shouted angrily. He was harmed by Di. Because they belonged to 2 different forces, it was normal for them to be competitors. However, Supreme Jiuyang was the disciple of Martial Emperor Di. He had fought for Martial Emperor Di all his life. How sad was it that he ended up like this? It was really sad. What does that old man Di want to do? Does he want to unify the Eastern Barren Territory? Liao Tsang said, As far as I know, his goal is not only the Eastern Barren Territory. Supreme Jiuyang said, What? He's so ambitious. Liao Cong said. Lu Ming and Xie Nianqing stood aside and listened quietly. They had heard a lot of secrets from Supreme Jiuyang and Liao Cong. They were not qualified to know these secrets with their cultivation. At this moment, Liao Cong looked at Lu Ming again and said, "No wonder I felt that this kid's blood force was extraordinary. He has awakened the 9 dragons' blood force. However, it will be difficult for him to fight against D. Since it has come to this, we can only take one step at a time." Supreme Jiuyang sighed. "However, it's not like there's no turning back. According to you, the battle of luck is coming soon. If we do well in the battle of luck, we may have a chance." Liao Cong thought for a while and looked at Lu Ming. "Lu Ming, are you willing to be my disciple?" "Disciple?" Lu Ming was stunned. "I see that you have great talent in the art of inscription. I can teach you everything I know. This way, you will have more power to fight against Martial Emperor Di in the future." Liao Cong said, "Lu Ming, this is a great opportunity. Why don't you become my disciple?" Supreme Jiuyang urged. Disciple Lu Ming greets master. Lu Ming took a few steps forward and knelt down to greet Liao Cong. How could he not be willing to become the disciple of a martial emperor? This was a great opportunity. Good, good, good. Ha ha ha. Liao Cong laughed. Immediately after, he pointed a finger at Lu Ming's glabella. There was a flash of light, and Lu Ming suddenly felt that there was something in his mind. As for what it was, he felt that it was a bit vague and he could not see it clearly. Disciple, I've already sealed all that I've learned in my life and some of my cultivation experiences into a formation. Now, I'm sending it into your mind. In the future, you can slowly study it and cultivate. However, there are many layers of seals in that formation. With your current cultivation, you can only read things of level 5 and below. When you become a level 6 inscriptionist, you will be able to read all the things of level 6 inscriptionists. Chapter 721. Thank you very much, Master. Lu Ming was overjoyed and thanked him. How precious was the lifetime worth of knowledge and cultivation experience of an Emperor Realm expert. It was much more precious than any treasure. Lu Ming would be able to avoid many detours in his cultivation in the future. He would be able to improve his cultivation at the fastest speed. This was an Emperor Realm expert, one of the most powerful experts in the divine wilderness continent. He was not like Dandan, who bragged about how powerful he was. He knew a lot of things, but he would only throw them to Lu Ming and let Lu Ming learn by himself. He had no experience to learn from. Yes, this is the spirit weapon that I used back then. It's called the Million Formation Illustration. It's a pity that I fought with D back then, and it was damaged. Many of the inscription arrays on it have been destroyed. However, it's still very powerful. Given your current cultivation level, you can't use it yet. Perhaps it will be of great use to you when your cultivation level increases in the future. Take it. Million Formation Image. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He took the Million Formation Image and put it away. Lu Ming had never heard of the Million Formation Image. However, since it was Liao Cong's treasure, it must be extraordinary. By the side, Supreme Jiuyang was secretly shocked. Although Lu Ming had never heard of it, he knew that the 10,000 formation illustration was the treasure that made Liao Cong famous. It was a powerful level 9 spirit weapon and was considered an imperial treasure. Its power was earth-shattering and could destroy the heavens. It was extremely terrifying. Now, Liao Cong had given such an important treasure to Lu Ming. It was obvious that he valued Lu Ming very much. My dear disciple, your little girlfriend's talent is also extremely shocking. Her bloodline physique has a great background. Since she has made it to the final stage, I have to do something. Now, let me help you unleash the power of your bloodline to the maximum. Liao Cong waved his hand, and a ray of light enveloped Xian Yinqing. A bloody light flashed behind Xian Yinqing, and a lotus flower appeared. On the lotus flower, a beautiful woman sat cross-legged. As expected, it's this kind of bloodline. Even in that family, this kind of bloodline only appears very rarely. It's called an anomaly. Haha, let me see the effect of bloodline nirvana. Liao Tsang waved his finger, and a mystical array entered Xie Nianqing's veins. Immediately, a black cocoon formed around Xie Nianqing's veins. Xie Nianqing sat down cross-legged, closed his eyes, and began to cultivate. Yes, Liao Tsang nodded. Within 3 days, I should be able to achieve nirvana. He then looked at Supreme Nine Sons and said, Nine Sons, how is the current situation of the Talisman Puppet Sect? Supreme Nine Sons pondered for a moment and said, Since Senior Lien's accident, the Talisman faction, and the Puppet faction have split into 2 factions. Their strength has weakened greatly. Now, the Talisman Puppet Sect has been occupied by the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace and the Heavenly Corpse Sect. It's not as strong as before. I knew it. Once something happened to me, I would end up like this. Liao Tsang sighed. I even heard that the Puppet faction has the intention to join the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. Supreme Nine Sons said, Damn it, the Talisman Puppet Sect must not be destroyed because of this. Disciple! Suddenly, Liao Tsang looked at Lu Ming and said, The 10,000 formation illustration is not only a supreme treasure, but also the token of the Talisman Puppet Sect's patriarch. In the future, the Talisman Puppet Sect will be handed over to you. After you leave, think of a way to reorganize the Talisman Puppet Sect and merge the 2 factions into one. Me, Lu Ming, was dumbfounded. The Talisman Puppet Sect was a formidable existence. How could he possibly have the strength to do so? Disciple, since you are my successor and have my token, the Talisman Puppet Sect will be handed over to you. Furthermore, once you have the Talisman Puppet Sect in your hands, you'll have the strength to fight against Martial Emperor D.E. in the future. Liao Tsang said, That's right, Lu Ming. This is Senior Liao Tsang's kindness. Supreme Nine Sons said, All right, I promise Master that I will try my best. Lu Ming brought his fists together and said, Indeed, if he could really control the Talisman Puppet Sect, he would have the strength to fight against Martial Emperor D. Great, great. Haha, I'm relieved. Initially, with my soul force, I would only be able to hold on for a few years before my soul dissipated. Who would have thought that I would be able to find hope before my death? Haha, the heavens are kind to me. Liao Tsang burst out laughing. Master, Lu Ming was sad. It was already unbelievable that a remnant soul could hold on for thousands of years. He knew that Liao Tsang might not be able to hold on for a few more years. Jiuyang, there is still hope for you to be resurrected. If you are resurrected in the future, you should help Lu Ming. Liao Tsang said, Of course. However, resurrection is easier said than done. Supreme Nine Sons sighed. There is always hope. All right, I have told you everything. When the girl wakes up, I will send you all back to the outer world. Liao Tsang said, Master, what about the other people from the outer world? Lu Ming asked. Let the others stay in the outer world. With my current strength, I can't send so many people out. Liao Tsang said calmly. Lu Ming sighed. Liao Tsang was an Emperor Realm expert who could suppress the 9 heavens. Ordinary martial artists were like ants in his eyes. If he and Xian Yinqing didn't make it to the last stage and caught Liao Tsang's attention and accepted him as his disciple, they would be nothing more than ants in Liao Tsang's eyes. Master, I want to bring a friend out with me. Can I? Lu Ming asked. A friend? Of course. All right, we can also solve the problem of the outer world. Liao Tsang waved his hand. Lu Ming felt the world change. In the next moment, Lu Ming appeared in the sky, outside the sacred mountain. Outside the sacred mountain, hundreds of tribes were staring at the sacred mountain. Most of the tribes were sighing in sorrow because their people had all failed. Then they looked at each other to see which tribe hadn't come out yet. Lu Ming and Miss Xia haven't come out yet. Maybe there is still hope. Chi Yu, Chi Jinkong, and the others of the Red Leopard tribe clenched their fists and stared at the sacred mountain with anticipation. Look, there is someone in the sky. Suddenly, someone shouted. Countless people looked up and saw a figure appear in the air. He stood in midair and did not descend. What's going on? How did this person appear in the sky? The others were bounced back by the array. This is strange. Which tribe did he come from? Lu Ming's appearance caused a wave of confusion. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. The people of the Red Leopard tribe were shocked. Did he succeed? Did Lu Ming fail too? At this moment, the entire sacred mountain emitted a dazzling light. The light shone on the land for thousands of miles. In the light, a figure appeared. This figure was 10,000 meters tall. It was huge and emitted an aura like the sky. It was Liao Tsang. Ancestor, the ancestor has awakened. It's really the ancestor. Chapter 7:22. Even the people from the outer world felt the same. Liao Tsang's aura was too powerful. It was boundless, making people feel like they were facing the universe. Facing this pressure, the people from the outer world also knelt down. No one was an exception. It was not a matter of whether they wanted to kneel or not, but they had no choice. This man is the destined one. Liao Tsang's voice came out of his mouth. Countless people's eyes gathered on Lu Ming. This young man was the destined one. Was he the one who awakened the ancient ancestor? Lu Ming. It's really him. It's really him. The people of the Red Leopard tribe were all ecstatic. They were so excited that their bodies were shaking. It was really Lu Ming. And Lu Ming was sent by the Red Leopard tribe. What kind of reward would the ancient ancestor give them? They were all looking forward to it. Which tribe sent this destined one? Liao Tsang's voice came out again. It was as if the gods were talking. His voice was like thunder, echoing between heaven and earth. It's us. It's our sacred wind tribe. Chi Jinkong did not say anything. Suddenly a shout came out. There was a group of people in that direction. There were more than 1,000 of them. Every one of them had a powerful aura. They were all inscribers above the Sea of Soul's realm. Rank 6. It's the Sacred Wind Tribe. This time they're even stronger. That's right. The Sacred Wind Tribe was the strongest tribe in the first place. They have countless experts. Now, they're the ones who delivered the mandate of heaven. The ancient ancestor will definitely reward them. The strong will strengthen the strong. In the future, which tribe will be the Sacred Wind tribe's opponent? The other tribes were all discussing. Damn it! The people of the Red Leopard tribe screamed in their hearts. The Sacred Wind tribe was so shameless that they stole their credit. However, they didn't dare to make a sound. The Sacred Wind tribe was too powerful. If they made a sound and the ancient ancestor didn't punish the Sacred Wind tribe, then their Red Leopard tribe would be in danger. If the Sacred Wind tribe wanted to destroy their Red Leopard tribe, it would be easy. Sacred Wind tribe, how dare you deceive me? You should die. Liao Tsang's voice came out. 2 beams of light shot out from his eyes toward the Sacred Wind tribe. Ah, ancient ancestor, please forgive us. The people of the Sacred Wind tribe screamed in horror. But it was all useless. 2 beams of light swept past, and the people of the Sacred Wind tribe all disappeared, turning into ashes. All the extraterrestrial people who had come with the Sacred Wind tribe had disappeared. 2 gazes all dead, even though Liao Tsang was only left with a remnant of his soul. And even though this remnant of his soul was about to dissipate, his power was still terrifying. At this moment, everyone at the scene was as silent as cicadas in winter. They didn't even dare to breathe loudly. The Sacred Wind tribe doesn't need to exist in this world. All tribes should unite and attack them. Liao Tsang said, "Yes, ancient ancestor." Countless tribes responded loudly. With one word from Liao Tsang, the number one tribe in the underground world was doomed to extinction. I already know that the Red Leopard tribe is the one who sent us the mandate of heaven this time. Now, I will bestow upon you a spirit cultivation technique. As soon as Liao Tsang finished speaking, a piece of jade flew towards the Red Leopard tribe. Qi Jinkong received it respectfully and hurriedly kowtowed. "Thank you for your gift, ancient ancestor." In his heart, he was extremely excited. Spirit cultivation technique. It was actually a spirit cultivation technique. This was a priceless treasure. With time, how many elites could be born in the Red Leopard tribe? In the future, it was possible for the Red Leopard tribe to become the strongest tribe in the underground world. There were so many tribes in the underground world, but none of them had a spirit cultivation technique. This was the legendary sacred book. The other tribes were extremely envious. Some people looked at the jade in Qi Jinkong's hand with burning eyes. Also, these 9 inscription talismans, each of them can kill those above the immortal realm. You can keep them. Liao Tsang's voice sounded again. The 9 inscription talismans flew towards Qi Jinkong. "Thank you for your gift, ancient ancestor." Qi Jinkong received it and bowed again. With these 9 inscription talismans, the Red Leopard tribe's safety could be guaranteed. Some of the tribes that had other thoughts suddenly felt a chill in their hearts. It was obvious that the ancient ancestor wanted to protect the Red Leopard tribe. How would they dare to have other thoughts? "Qi Yu, tribe leader Qi, Lu Ming will take his leave now." At this moment, Lu Ming's voice came into Qi Yu and Qi Jinkong's ears. Qi Yu looked up and saw the ancient ancestor waving his hand. Lu Ming's figure disappeared. Qi Yu felt lost. She sighed in her heart. She knew that after today's parting, they might never meet again. Lu Ming was a heaven's favorite from the outer world. The outer world was so vast. After all, the underground was only one stop in Lu Ming's life journey. At the same time, Liao Tsang's figure also disappeared. Along with him, Kenfei Ryu, who was standing in a tribe. The surroundings changed. Lu Ming found that he was back in the cave. With a flash of light, Liao Tsang also appeared. At the same time, another figure flashed. Kenfei Ryu's figure also appeared. As soon as Kenfei Ryu appeared, he hurriedly retreated and put on a cautious look. When he saw Lu Ming, he let out a sigh of relief. He looked at Liao Tsang, Lu Ming, and Xian Yinqing. He said, "Brother Lu, what is going on?" "Brother Jian, in a few days, the 3 of us will go out and return to the outer world. Brother Jian, please don't ask too much about other things." Lu Ming said. Kenfei Ryu was stunned, although he had many questions in his heart. Since Lu Ming said not to ask too much, it most likely involved Lu Ming's secrets. Kenfei Ryu was smart enough not to ask too much. In the following time, Lu Ming and Kenfei Ryu sat cross-legged, waiting for Xian Yinqing. Lu Ming's consciousness sank into his mind. He found that there was a shining object in his mind. On top of it, there were layers upon layers of arrays. This was the sealing array that Liao Tsang inserted into his mind. It was about Liao Tsang's cultivation experience and cultivation experience. Lu Ming controlled the flame of will and approached the sealing array. The first layer of the array was not very strong. Soon, it was broken by the flame of will. Suddenly, Lu Ming found that he had entered a vast space. Here, there were countless Liao Tsangs sitting cross-legged, explaining their cultivation experience and cultivation experience. It was as if there were countless Liao Tsang teaching him cultivation. He could listen to any one of them. Amazing, truly amazing. Lu Ming sighed. He stopped in front of one of the Liao Tsang and listened. After a while, this Liao Tsang repeated what he just said. Lu Ming listened to it a few times and felt that he understood it. Then he walked to the next Liao Tsang. Just like that, Lu Ming listened to each and every one of them. Here, it was all about the Liao Cang's knowledge and cultivation experience of the 5th level and before. Although Lu Ming had reached the peak of the 5th level, after listening to it, he found that he still had a lot to learn. His foundation in the path of inscription was getting stronger. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. On the 4th day, Xian Yanqing's qi began to increase rapidly. The black cocoon above her head began to crack. Chapter 7:23. Crack. The black cocoon on Xian Yanqing's head cracked open. Then, a dazzling silver light flashed out. It was the light emitted by the chakras. 9 chakras. Lu Ming looked at it and saw 9 silver chakras. 9th level king bloodline. How is this possible? Lu Ming was stunned. Kenfei Ryu was even more shocked. They had fought together and knew that Xian Yanqing's bloodline was originally a 7th level king bloodline. But now, it had become a 9th level king bloodline. It was unbelievable. Not bad at all. This bloodline is indeed powerful. I wonder what level the 3rd bloodline will be like. Liao Cang looked at Xian Yanqing and nodded with satisfaction. It seems that the 9 dragons bloodline is not the only type of bloodline in this world. Lu Ming sighed. In the great 1,000 realms, there are all sorts of strange things. In the past, the place where Shao Qin stayed was still too small. When he stepped onto a broader stage, he would definitely see even more wondrous things. There were all sorts of bloodlines. The 9 dragons bloodline might not be the only bloodline that could be upgraded. Xian Yanqing's bloodline was actually able to rise to the 9th level of the king level through another method, through the nirvana of his bloodline. A 9th level king bloodline was the highest level that a 2nd bloodline could reach. Normally, a 3rd bloodline was needed to reach the divine bloodline. After a while, the silver light disappeared. Xian Yanqing's bloodline also disappeared and entered her body. She opened her eyes. All right, now step onto the altar. I will send you out. Liao Cang said. Kenfei Ryu and Xia Yanqing stepped onto the altar. Lu Ming came to Liao Cang and bowed. Master, I will take my leave. Emungo, I will not be able to help you in the future. You will have to rely on yourself. Liao Cang nodded. Lu Ming's heart ached. Although he did not spend much time with Liao Cang, Lu Ming did treat Liao Cang as his real master. Strictly speaking, this was the first time Lu Ming had formally acknowledged a master. Lu Ming knew that this farewell might be forever. With Liao Cang's soul power, he would not be able to hold on for more than a few years. An emperor of a generation. Ending up like this, it was really sad. Lu Ming bowed again and stepped onto the altar. Liao Cang waved his hands, and the altar began to glow. Inscriptions flashed, and in the next moment, they felt the world was spinning. When the surroundings stabilized, they opened their eyes. They arrived on a small island, which should be one of the small islands in the chaotic astral ocean. Brother Lu, Mississippi Xia, thank you. Kenfei Ryu cupped his fists at Lu Ming to express his gratitude. This time, only the 3 of them came out. He knew that the others would have to stay underground forever. The reason he could come out was definitely because of Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. He was very grateful. If he had to stay underground forever, it would be worse than death. Brother Jian, you don't have to thank me. Lu Ming smiled. Brother Lu, Miss Xia, what are your plans from now on? Kenfei Ryu asked. We came out mainly to train and improve our cultivation. When the Battle of Providence begins, we will head to the Tianwu region. Lu Ming said. The Tianwu region was where the Emperor's Sky Divine Palace was located. Oh, if that's the case, why don't you follow me back to the Golden Sword sect and head to the Tianwu region? The Tianwu list battle is about to begin. For all the Peak Kings, this is an opportunity that cannot be missed. Kenfei Ryu said, Tianwu list battle. Lu Ming was stunned. Apart from the Battle of Providence, Why was there another Tianwu list battle? Brother Lu, you don't know about the Tianwu list battle? Kenfei Ryu was a little surprised. Lu Ming shook his head. He really didn't know. All right, in the Tianwu region, there are 2 Tianwu steels that open once every 3 years. The Tianwu steels have a miraculous effect on Peak Kings. Many people have broken through and entered the Sea of Soul realm because of it. However, there is a limit to the number of people who can obtain the final opportunity. There are only 108 people. However, there are so many Peak Kings in the Eastern Wilderness that it's hard to count. With so many people, everyone wants the 108 spots. Therefore, a series of battles have started. This is the Tianwu list battle. Now, the Tianwu list battle is not only about the 108 spots. It will also rank the Peak Kings. It is a kind of glory to determine the strongest Peak King. Among them, the top 10 of the Tianwu list are called the 10 Heavenly Kings. Kenfei Ryu explained in detail. Oh. Lu Ming nodded. He roughly understood. This meant that they had to compete for both the ranking and the opportunity. The Tianwu list battle is extremely fierce. Because there is no age limit, many old monsters who have cultivated for nearly 1,000 years will participate. It can be said that there are many experts. Those old monsters may have limited potential, but after so many years of cultivation, their combat strength is extremely terrifying. Many geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents are no match for them. Kenfei Ryu said, Okay, we'll go to the Golden Sword sect with you first, then go to the Tianwu region. Lu Ming immediately made a decision. He was now stuck at the limit of the first level of wind, fire, and thunder. It was difficult for him to break through. Perhaps the Tianwu list battle would be an opportunity for him to break through. If he didn't break through the spiritual sea, it was almost impossible for him to stand out in the battle of luck. Xian Yinqing also nodded. Although she had heard of the Tianwu list battle, she was still quite curious. Immediately, the 3 of them rose into the air and flew toward the west. The Golden Light region where the Golden Sword sect was located was in the west of the chaotic astral ocean. After flying for a day, the 3 of them came to a large island. Following the map, they knew where they were. They should be about 10 days away from the Golden Light region. Let's ride the puppet. Lu Ming waved his hand, and a giant snake puppet appeared. This giant snake puppet was 50 meters long and equivalent to the 4th tier of the spiritual sea realm. It came from the Yin snake tribe. This time, Lu Ming brought back many puppets. At the sight of Lu Ming taking out the giant snake puppet and sensing the powerful aura that the giant snake puppet exuded, Jian Filiu was shocked. I didn't expect that Brother Lu not only has strong martial arts cultivation, but also the path of inscription is so terrifying. Kenfei Ryu sighed. To be able to control a puppet equivalent to the 4th tier of the spiritual sea realm, Lu Ming's spiritual fire was absolutely terrifying. Needless to say, he was definitely a true inscription master. At this age, not only was his martial arts so terrifying, but even his path of inscription had reached such a level. Kenfei Ryu wailed in his heart. Was he still human? Lu Ming smiled faintly and didn't say much. The giant snake puppet was very big, and it was very spacious for the 3 of them to ride. The giant snake puppet flapped its wings, and the wind howled. They turned into a stream of light and flew forward. So fast! Lu Ming was slightly shocked. After coming out of the underground, he found that the giant snake puppet's flying speed was many times faster than underground. As expected, when underground, its speed was completely suppressed. Flying became many times more difficult, and when they were outside, it was as if they had broken free of their shackles and were free to fly. Chapter 7:24. The boundless sea region flashed by, and in the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. Riding on the puppet, they could cultivate as they traveled. and there are battle cries coming from ahead. With a thought, Lu Ming reduced the speed of the giant snake puppet. Kenfei Ryu and Xian Yinqing also stopped cultivating. It seems like there are pirates intercepting the merchant group. Xian Yinqing said, "Let's go and take a look." Lu Ming waved his hand and kept the giant snake puppet. They turned into 3 rays of light and flew forward. Luo Exan was in despair, seeing the people of the Flame Merchant Group dying one by one. She was truly in despair. This time, the Flame Merchant Group had a large amount of goods to transport to the Golden Light region. The value of the goods was very high, and the Flame Merchant Group had mobilized almost all of their forces. Chun Dao, the strongest battle force of the Flame Merchant Group, and Luo Exan's father, Luo Ming, was also a Peak King. There were also 2 Peak Kings, making a total of 4 Peak Kings. Their strength couldn't be considered weak. However, the opponent was even stronger because they were the Blood Evil Pirate Group. Yes, it was the Blood Evil Pirate Group again, and this time all of them were mobilized. What made them despair was that the Blood Evil Pirate Group not only had 4 Peak Kings, but their leader was also an almighty at the first layer of the spiritual ocean realm. They were no match for them at all. At this moment, they were completely surrounded. Pum! The leader of the Blood Evil Pirate Group was called Xue Sha. With a palm strike, Chun Dao spat out large mouthfuls of blood and retreated rapidly. "Xue Sha, we have already agreed to hand over all the goods. Why are you still in such a hurry to kill us all?" Luo Ming roared, unwilling to give up. "Why? Last time my 5th and 6th brothers tried to rob your flame trading firm, but were killed in the end. During this period of time, I've been investigating your flame trading firm's movements, planning to take revenge for my 5th and 6th brothers. I didn't expect to find out that all of you have moved out. How could I miss such an opportunity?" Xue Sha sneered, and the murderous aura on his body was extremely dense. Luo Exan smiled bitterly. So that's why the Blood Evil Pirate Group wanted to avenge those people. Back then, the 2 pinnacle kings of the Blood Evil Pirate Group had been killed by Lu Ming. But in that situation, the Blood Evil Pirates wanted to annihilate them. Of course, they had to retaliate. She wouldn't blame Lu Ming. She could only say that their flame trade union was destined to face such a calamity. "Little girl, I heard that my 5th brother was killed because he took a fancy to you. Why didn't you agree at that time? Why didn't you just agree to my 5th brother's request? You actually dared to resist, and even dared to order people to kill them. Today, I will take you down and let my other brothers enjoy you. I will let you know what regret is." Xue Sha's voice was extremely cold. It was as cold as a poisonous snake choosing its prey. "Chun Dao, you take Xian and break out of the encirclement. I will do my best to stop them." Luo Ming asked Chun Dao. "Father, no, we have to leave together." Luo Xian shouted. If Luo Ming stayed behind to block them, he would definitely die. "Go. Where do you want to go?" "Today, none of you will be able to leave," Xue Sha said coldly. The other 4 Peak Kings of the Blood Evil Pirate Group were scattered around, along with many other experts, sealing off the other escape routes of the Flame Trade Union. "Also, who killed my 5th brother and 6th brother? Hurry up and say it so that you won't have to suffer so much." Xue Sha asked coldly. "I already said that the one who killed your 5th brother and 6th brother wasn't from our Flame Trade Union. He was just passing by our Flame Trade Union. We don't recognize him and don't know where he is now," Luo Exan said. "It seems like you won't say it? All right, wait a moment. I will let you say it." Xue Sha's gaze turned even colder as the aura on his body exploded. The aura of the Sea of Soul realm was like a vast ocean, spreading towards the people of the Flame Trade Union. Luo Exan, Luo Ming, and the others felt even more despair. "Are you looking for me?" Right at this moment, a clear voice drifted over from afar. Hearing this voice, Luo Xian's body shook. She didn't know why, but she immediately became excited as she looked towards the direction of the voice. Everyone else also looked towards the direction of the voice. 3 young figures walked over in the air. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. Luo Xian became excited. It's him. Chen Dao's eyes suddenly brightened. Only the few of them knew that Lu Ming was Shura, the Shura who could kill the Sea of Soul Realm deep-sea giant snake. Lu Ming had come. They were saved. However, the others didn't know. Shuai Sha's gaze was cold as he looked at Lu Ming and said, "Who are you?" "Who am I? What a joke. Weren't you looking for me just now? I was the one who killed your 5th and 6th brothers." Lu Ming smiled faintly. "So it's you. Ha ha ha. There's a path to heaven, but you don't want to take it. There's no door to hell, but you're really stupid. But this is good too. It saves me the trouble of looking for you." Shueisha laughed, his gaze extremely cold. "Is that so? From now on, the chaotic astral ocean will have no blood, evil pirate group." Lu Ming stepped forward and said, "Little Qing, Brother Jian, I'll leave the others to you." "Okay, Kenfei Ryu smiled and stepped forward, walking toward a Peak King. "Kid, you're courting death." That Peak King roared, and a resplendent blade light slashed toward Kenfei Ryu. "Come!" A light sword hum resounded, and a golden light flashed. Then everyone was shocked to see that the Peak King pirate's blade light had shattered, and a bloody wound had appeared on his forehead. Then his entire body was split in two. One sword strike and a Peak King had died. Everyone was dumbfounded. At the same time, Xian Yinqing arrived in front of a Peak King. However, what happened next was even more shocking. Just as that Peak King was about to attack, his entire body stiffened and he didn't move at all. Only his face revealed an extremely terrified expression. Then, with a pung sound, this Peak King turned into a bloody mist that spread out in the air. He was dead and turned into ashes. CC around them, everyone's chests were like a ventilator, constantly sucking in cold air. Horrifying, too horrifying. A Peak King was killed without even being able to fight back. However, Xian Yinqing and the others were clearly only Peak Kings. They are? Luo Ming was dumbfounded and stuttered. Luo Xen took a deep breath and pointed at Kenfei Ryu, saying, "King of Hell." Then she pointed at Xian Yinqing, saying, "Yiksha." Finally, she pointed at Lu Ming and said, "Shura." Luo Ming's pupils constricted as he took a few deep breaths and said, "So it's them? No wonder, no wonder." Everyone on Golden Sand Island knew about Shura, King of Hell, and Yiksha. Of course, Luo Ming had heard of them before. He knew that his flame trade firm would finally be saved today. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.